Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to a wonderful day of some Risen Esports Gaming. I am joined here in the cast booth with Bexon. We got ourselves an exciting matchup ahead of us. Glizzy Gluckers versus Top Side Baguette. Bexon, what do you think about this epic matchup?
I am so excited because these are decidedly both the teams at the top of the league, like not even close, right? We have the Glizzy Gluckers sitting at 4-1. They finally have their mid laner here who is decidedly top of the list here in terms of powerful players. And Topside Baguette, obviously, really, they're 5-0. I mean, they're currently unstoppable. So for me, it's truly a clash of the titans. And I'm excited to see exactly how much Glizzy Gluckers will be able to get away with their notoriously interesting picks here. And as we're getting into draft, I do expect that we're going to see some truly unique things. As we established last week, for anyone who is here for Doran's, you really can't decide where anyone on GGL is going until after they tell you where they're going, because then you might get a Yasuo Aurelia bot lane. That being said, Topside Baguette, strong across the board. There's no weak spot really on that team at all. And honestly, the same for Glizzy Gluckers. They're not afraid to throw themselves to the wolves. I think 3 of them are on the top 5 number of deaths per game currently. And, you know, meanwhile for Topside Baguette, I think 3 of them are on the top of KDA, right? So you have like 2 genuinely powerful teams today.
Yeah, Glizzy Gluckers definitely not afraid of a fight. And like you talk about, just the team comps between these two teams, the way that Topside Baguette seems to kind of go more traditional team comps, and Glizzy Gluckers more prepared to go outside of the meta, a little kind of the old guard versus new school. We're going to see if the Glizzy Gluckers can come up with some new metas, maybe some crazy things that Topside Baguette have never seen before, and maybe get them surprised with the W. Topside Baguette, though, a very strong team, and that traditional way of playing really makes it difficult to beat if you can play it well, and these guys definitely can. And it looks like we're getting a very first pick of the game, like Bex was talking about, that Yasuo is on the field.
And it could be flexed anywhere. I mean, that's truly the most unique thing about this team. We genuinely have no idea where that's going. Yes, we have seen the Yasuo in the ADC role. That could be obviously Yasuo mid. It could be Yasuo top.
That's just it. Exactly. Yasuo is such a versatile champion, especially the people that play Yasuo are just lunatics. All the Yasuo players are absolutely insane. They will take him in the jungle. They'll take him top. They'll take him support if they need to. They just love playing that champion when they can. And Lucian getting selected by Topside Baguette and getting selected again, or following up quickly as a support. So Lucian Milio, the Lucian Enchanter combo, like we said, very traditional combo down there in the bot lane.
And super meta right now. We're seeing a lot of pros also running the Lucian Milio, especially going into MSI. Still in a fantastic place here going into the pre-MSI patch. I don't expect that will change here anytime soon. And as we know, both Ghost and Smoky Gymnast are really good at what they do. So I expect this to be an oppressive lane. I expect Milio to be a surprisingly useful champion. Not saying he's never unuseful, but sometimes I feel like Milio can kind of go by the wayside in terms of, you know, the shielding and healing powers. So I do expect this to be very oppressive. Meanwhile, Urgot, again, surprise Urgot support, maybe? Let's think about all the fun places we could put him.
I'm gonna guess at Urgot. Just from my classic league experience, I'm thinking Urgot top, Yasuo mid, but we're gonna have to see where Glizzy Gluckers fills out their comp with to decide if that is what we're gonna see. Pretty safe to assume it's gonna be a Lucian Milio bot lane for Topside Baguette. Don't see those two champions going anywhere else except for those roles usually. But we're gonna see what Glizzy Gluckers decides to round out their phase 1 picks with a Vi. So Vi, most likely a jungler. Right now, Glizzy Gluckers, I think we can predict where they're going, but they might throw us for some loops. And Topside Baguette with their final pick of phase 1.
True. I mean, it could be Malphite. Ooh. Now, Malphite's really hit or miss for me, quite literally. Are we going to see, as Carp called it last week, on the golden path to Malphite success, doing the steel caps, Warden's Mail, and I can't remember, Bramble Vest, I think, was the three that he said
Yeah.
are the what leads to Malphite success, or are we going to see an AP Malphite?
That's the
We'll
thing.
see.
As a Malphite player, AP Malphite is so much more fun. But that being
That's
said,
fair.
if he is on your team, you want to see him buying those tank items. You want to see him being the engaged for your squad. I do love a good AP Malphite. I love when he's just blowing champions up. But taking a look at Glizzy Glucker's comp right now, I'm feeling like AP or Armor Malphite, Tank Malphite might be the way to go. That being said, if Topside Baguette is lacking AP damage, they're going to need it somehow.
Yeah, I do want to point out just really quick, as we're getting into the second round of bans here, that Topside Baguette did ban away the Cassidon, which we did see in some previous weeks. I lost is absolutely destructive on this Cassidon pick, and so is Topside Baguette. They also Zodox can also play the Cassidon, and I'm pretty sure Mayo even has a graphic for level 16 Cassidon. So everyone's aware when the Cassidon becomes a true problem. So that's not a very surprising ban. What it is interesting to note, lots of mid laners here banned out as well as top laners because both teams have really powerful top lane. There it is, level 16 Cassidon for those
showing the
watching.
graphic off just when he gets that.
Maybe we'll get to see it. I hope so. But both Monster Mush Mush and Lopic are phenomenal top laners, top of the league. Overall, like I said, both teams are kind of there. But I'm not surprised to see a lot of bans in that particular regard. Silas here, rounding out the bans for Topside Baguette. I kind of expect to see another mid lane ban here from the Glizzy Gluckers. They want to try and put Zodex kind of on the back foot if they can help it, though they do have a really fantastic champ pool, and they have the ability to play almost, they can play a lot of things really well. So it's one of those players where it's hard to ban them out. But that being said, I'm now wondering if the Glizzy Gluckers are going to fool me. And what if we have a normal pit, like comp? What if we have
They might be going for a very traditional. We'll find out in a second. But absolutely true. And the thing about those really strong top laners too, especially in the top lane, you have to know about 3 or 4, I would say, champions in a really good way. You cannot just know a single champion top lane. Not only can it get banned out, but also you can get very hard countered in the top lane. So having a decently sized 4 or 5 champion champ pool really helps you out. So those high-level top laners, very difficult to completely ban them out, completely get them out of the game. And that might be why we're seeing a lot of concentration on the mid lane instead. Really trying to get rid of what they can. As a top laner gets selected. So Renekton on the field. That is going to put Malphite possibly in the jungle, possibly as a mid laner.
Mid?
Yeah, making Malphite a little bit more of a toss-up of where he is going. It might be an AP Malphite now that we see the Renekton on the field.
True. Ooh, Heimerdinger here picked up for the Glizzy Gluckers. I cannot recall the last time I saw Heimerdinger in a game. I do love that pick. Classically, we've seen Heimerdinger top, not infrequently, but obviously a mid laner and can be flexed to the bot lane as well in that ADC role or APC role, depending on what he's doing. So once again, Glizzy Gluckers coming out of the woodwork. Champions that we don't get to see.
They're not going to disappoint. I was thinking that their comp might be traditional up until this point, and then they pull out the Heimerdinger as most likely an APC, I think. So definitely having some fun here. And Malzahar is going to make that Yasuo maybe a bot laner. So as you talked about, Glizzy Gluckers throwing us for a loop with those final 2 picks. No idea where their team comp is going now.
No, I think we're gonna have to wait for Mayo and production to tell us exactly where people are going for that particular team. Smolder here is hovered, and I do think that's an interesting mid lane pick. Again, Topside Baguette have a lot of safety in their composition, right? They have a lot of, we will still be able to carry almost from anywhere and should have the ability to kind of play any sort of strategy that the Glizzy Gluckers want to bring. Smolder obviously bringing that late game potential. It's Smolder in time at some point, so you have to be aware of that, right? And I like the spread here. I think it's interesting. I do hope this is a tank Malphite. I know
yes.
AP Malphite's more fun, and I'm so sorry. But I do kind of hope it's a tank Malphite. They need a little bit of beef there. And all right, I have the list here from production. Are we ready? Heimerdinger top, Vi jungle, Malzahar mid, and then Yasuo Urgot bot lane.
All right, so a Heimerdinger, so Glizzy Gluckers, not disappointing. I'll say that. You know what? We thought it was going to be a little bit wild, a little bit wacky, and they are not disappointing. We got ourselves a good-looking game, a good-looking comp. You guys in chat, let us know who you think is going to win this game. Very untraditional by Glizzy Gluckers, but both these teams are just so strong. It can really go either way. But if you guys are in chat, let us know if you think Glizzy Gluckers can win with this crazy comp or Topside Baguette with a little more traditional. They do have the Smolder, though. And I guess Smolder might be going mid lane this game.
Yeah.
So interesting pickup there. And Smolder, I mean, even though he did get a little nerf in the most recent patch, I believe he is still a ticking time bomb if you were on the
Yes.
enemy team. It is a matter of time before he gets those stacks, before he starts to really take over the game. And he's going to help out with the way that Lucian seems to fall off as the game goes on. Not my strongest late game ADC pick, so Smolder can definitely pick up that slack when he starts to fall off. I really like Topside Baguette throughout this entire game, honestly.
Yeah, I think the real question for me is going to be, can they really kind of combat the chaos that glizzy gluckers are really good at bringing to the Rift? I mean, not only in their draft strategy, but they play it well. Like last week, the Yasuo Aurelia bot lane did actually kind of work. Like, obviously it's weird, right? And I
Yeah.
think that the Yasuo Urgot will function in a very similar way. I do think it's fascinating that they're taking top laners directly to the support role, so props to them for that. I do quite like that. But that being said, I think that if Topside Baguette are able to kind of manage some of this chaos, I do think that they have a good strategy for winning. Clearly, they have a lot of potential, right, from early, mid, and late game. That being said, make sure to spend your channel points on who you think is going to take away game one. Again, Glizzy Gluckers 4-1, Topside Baguette 5-0, right? So who is going to win game one here in this first series?
Yeah, strong teams. And also, I'm thinking of Glizzy Gluckers, who can help this Yasuo up with his ultimate. Who's going to be able to get that knock up?
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
Urgot can help out. Vi can help out. But Heimerdinger and Malzahar, I don't think they got anything in their kit that can really help Yasuo with that ultimate. Obviously, the Nether Grass from Malzahar is going to be huge, being able to hit those tornadoes and stuff with. But we will see. Glizzy Gluckers, I think, have their work cut out for them. They really got to execute on this comp right here. It's going to be a difficult one, especially without a late game ADC, any sort of real strong range on their team. Heimerdinger being the strongest range of the team might be a big factor as the game goes on. But we're going to see which one of these two teams can take game number one. An epic best-of-3 matchup is about to kick off. I hope you guys are excited as I am. We got ourselves a fun one coming up.
when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last light. Can we bring to fall the giants? 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 We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of a world that we defy. A solar ray of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. It is time for some Risen esports fun. We got two powerhouse teams making their way out onto the Rift, ready to do battle. I am joined with Bexing, and today could just not be better. Bexing, how we doing? You ready for this game?
I am so ready for this game. What absolute chaos the Gluckers always bring. And then also Topside Baguette are just such a fun team to watch because they're just so good. And I love watching them play. And before we get into the action, I know this is your first time casting with me. I love a skin game win game, which is where I base the predictions of who's gonna win based on what skins they have. And ironically, I have better predictions with that than I do normally. So that being said, that is a good Melio skin. However, this is my favorite Heimerdinger skin, and I like the Malzahar skin. And also, that's a plain smolder, and that's kind of sad. So my second game win game's going to
2v1 then. So Bexon thinking that GGL is going to take this based off the Heimer and the Malzahar skin. In my years of casting, I have never seen such professional way of choosing a winner. I love that. There you go. That is how you decide who's going to win the game. Who looks cooler? Hey, it's as good a reason as any.
Exactly.
And we're going to see if that pans out.
Who cares about stats when you can just go by, you know, favoritism?
Yeah. Doesn't matter how you do as long as you look good doing it. That's what's important.
Exactly. It brings aura, okay? Dress for the job you want, and some people dress to be winners, okay?
I love that.
Oh, that
like
being
we
said,
early game is not going to be very aggressive between these two teams. Obviously, Smolder just fine with farming it out. Malzahar, not a super aggressive early game player. Heimerdinger going to be able to keep that Renekton pinned in. Yasuo is going to take advantage of his early game. To the bot side, might have some aggression here. They go on top of the Lucian, finds the knock-up. A lot of damage done onto the Yasuo, not enough for the kill. Lucian pushes him back, and the fight remains deathless, but a little bit low HP bars on both teams.
Yeah, I really love to see early aggression here from this Yasuo. 20 million, 21,006, or 2002, 1006. This Yasuo here definitely needs to get that kind of forward pressure, given the fact that they're walking into a, might I say, actual bot lane composition. So that being said, the Yasuo needs to make sure that they maintain the pressure, and it means that they can roam, which, as we have seen in previous games, GGL really likes to make sure that their players are basically everywhere all of the time. So really well done from this Yasuo. I don't know if they're going to be able to keep that up, given sustain, right? Obviously from the Melio. But so far, pretty even in CS, just a slight lead there for that Lucian.
Yeah, Yasuo definitely trying to take advantage of his early game. He has a very strong early game, Yasuo does. Seems to usually fall off a little bit in the mid game and then get right back in it during the late game. So kind of an interesting build there to his strength. But nonetheless, as Yasuo wants to take advantage of being able to be aggressive early, will have to back off as the Lucian starts to get items, starts to push him back a little more aggressively. But hopefully he gets a few kills, a good CS, and can start to really take over towards that 20-minute mark. But as expected, Heimerdinger just keeping this Renekton under tower.
Interesting here that Heimerdinger did take barrier instead of the TP, and I'm wondering if that's because Monster Mush Mush, who is my #1 fan, shout out to Monster Mush Mush, does feel like they're going to be able to maintain constant pressure, so they're not so worried about the back timing or making sure that they have the tempo in lane. It's just an interesting pick. Obviously, Heimerdinger significantly squishier than Renekton. I don't know if everyone knows that, but that is in fact the case. So interesting pickup. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, he does get that built-in TP, being a top laner eventually once he gets his objective finished. But he is, like we said, Heimerdinger just does so well into those melee matchups. And Renekton has that dash, can close the gap, but it's just not that long. It's not that far. And Heimerdinger gets that movement speed when he's around his turret, so he's really tough to catch up to. And this is just a great reason why Heimerdinger does so well in the top lane against mostly melee matchups. Can really put some pressure on them and keep them annoyed throughout the laning phase.
It's true. It's hard to slice and dice upon a Yordle who is running very rapidly away from you. Something interesting, too. I don't know. I'm so fascinated to see this Urgot specifically. I think that 10 GVT, I just really want to know how they want to play this lane out. Obviously, as we've seen so far, pretty standard, honestly. Not a ton of pressure here from the Urgot to try and, besides just general aura, right, to make sure that it's... the Yasuo can farm here, but I really want to know how they want to play this Urgot in team fights, because it's just such a utility pick, right? And Urgot can do a lot of damage, and also obviously Fear Beyond Death is as someone who plays mainly ADC, I live in fear of Fear Beyond Death.
It's a great ability to deal with the squishies.
Right, exactly, and so I really think that's interesting, you know, and so. I don't know, I have a little bit of maybe hopium here for GGL to be able to pick up a win here in game 1, but that remains to be seen here. No kills yet here, 5 minutes into the game, which is kind of a long time for both of these teams, honestly. Meanwhile, Thon here is in the Dragon Pit, and I don't believe that GGL know. Lucifer here, about to find out, though.
Yeah, Lucifer is going to be able to see that over the wall. Maybe going to go for a smite battle. Tries to smite a little bit too early. Leads it down to 100 HP, and Malphite able to finish it off. Well, Malphite starting the dragon, taking the dragon. A little bit risky, but he walks away one objective up.
For a split second there, I thought, did Thon smite the dragon?
I
Or
think
was it
he
just
did.
Lucifer?
They might have both smited.
Okay. Because I saw Smite still up after. So thank you for Mayo for making sure that I know what's going
lands
on.
the ability, but does not have his last breath yet. So Yasuo is still without that ultimate. It might be what they're waiting for. The Urgot going to be very easy to land the knockup with the Urgot. So they might just be waiting for that level 6. Maybe want to get a back in, get Yasuo a few more items before they really start to go for that first all-in.
Absolutely. It is just such an interesting, I feel like we're waiting with bated breath, pun intended here, for level 6 to click over, right? We have level 6 on the top half of the map for both sides here. However, I really think that there is so much writing on this bot lane strange composition, waiting for them to become the true menaces that they are meant to be, right? That being said, I Lost here has hit level 7, and so has Zodek. So we have Mom, we have the Nether Grasp in the works. I feel like both teams are waiting for a team fight. I myself am excited for the first big, especially 5v5 that we're gonna see. Dragon is back up in 3 minutes, Baron in 12. I'm not exactly sure where each team wants to focus their efforts. I am surprised to see Lucifer hasn't gone topside to try and, you know, secure one of these, one of the neutral objectives here, but Thon is hovering. Monster Mush Mush may be in trouble.
Yeah, Thon in the bush. They have level 6. Goes into top force. Is going to connect. Here comes Renekton. He pops his Dominus immediately. And Heimerdinger trying to run away. Has the flash, but it's not going to be far enough because Renekton has flash to follow. Quick kill there by Topside Baguette. Take the first 1-0 lead. Malphite gets the play.
Yeah, first blood here, 7.5 minutes into the game, which is pretty exciting, honestly. I think Monster Mush Mush just really was a little bit out of position, and maybe not quite used to how much damage Heimerdinger cannot take. So really well played, though, by Thon, trying to get that early rotate, or early arrow rotate to the top side, getting that gank. Meanwhile, we've got 3 here waiting and hovering in the wings in the mid lane. Yasuo by themselves in bot.
3 mid bot. Yasuo going to dive in, lands the play. Here comes the bot. Has the season assist. Lots of plays there. And a Fear Beyond Death is going to connect on the Smolder. Vexen was talking about how those ADCs hate the ability. Well, Smolder does too, as Urgot gets himself a kill in the mid lane.
Yeah, it was actually kind of a little bit of a non-bow, and I feel a little bad there. I Lost and 10 ShiVT both ulted at the same time, and unfortunately for the Malzahar, you cannot Nether Grasp what is currently being yoinked into Urgot. So we are going to take a quick look at this fight here in, I'm assuming, the mid lane. I can't actually see which team, so we're not going to look at that. It's a lie. May have lied to me. Yeah, no replays. Straight to the action.
Straight back to the action. We got a fight happening here. Bot side, Urgot having a flash over the wall. Very low HP, but no red team members are going to follow. Urgot gets out safe. And the fighting is starting to heat up as we hit this 10-minute mark. Players are starting to go in. As we talk about Renekton, diving on the Heimerdinger, takes a very bad trade, and he was ready for it. Pushing back with those turrets.
Yeah, really well. This is the power, right, of the Heimerdinger top lane, and why I'm so excited to see this Yordle. I haven't seen him in a hot minute, and all of the dragons here are well trained to make sure that this, despite being a god of sorts, is not able to push into lane. I swear, Lopik has been shoved under tower this entire game. So for about 9.5 minutes, this Renekton, besides the one time Thon was able to go on that gank in the top lane, has just been absolutely pressured. And so for the side of you have to be thoughtful about making sure that the Renekton, I mean, granted, CS still fine, only about 8 CS behind, nothing major, right, about even. But that pressure will continue to mount despite the kill there onto the Heimerdinger. So if I'm Renekton, I'm being really thoughtful about what you're going to do with that. Thon, are you going to rotate again topside? Are you going to come back bot and try and gank bot side once again? Weren't able to really get anything last time. So, I don't know. There's a lot of questions on how exactly the jungler wants to play this as well.
Yeah, and that's honestly, but at the end of the day, it's kind of all Renekton can do as a melee matchup versus Heimerdinger. Just try to stay even with the CS. Like you said, he's done a great job of it so far. The thing about Heimerdinger, he is just so strong in the laning phase. It's so difficult to beat him in CS to get a kill onto him. But once the team fighting starts, especially these random team fights, if it's an objective fight they can set up for, it's a different story. But the random team fights, Heimerdinger just does not excel in. So obviously, if Topside Baguette can try to find these random fights in the jungle where Heimerdinger does not have time to set up the turrets, maybe doesn't have his ultimate ready to go, he really does not excel in the team fights, and I think that's what Topside Baguette is kind of waiting for, letting the Renekton get as much CS as possible and wait for those big fights later on.
I am personally hoping for a multi-person stun from the Heimerdinger. I just think it's fun. Maybe it's because I love seeing a Heimerdinger and I'm biased. That being said, Lope going about half health here. Needs to be careful. Monster Mush Mush once again on the pressure.
And Yasuo, he wants to dive in, immediately use the last breath there onto the Emilio. Emilio pops breath of life, though. They have a fight as Malphite comes in to help them. Unstoppable, going to attack on both of them. Lucian pops the calling on Yasuo. He needs one more auto attack, but Yasuo flashed away. Lucian has the dash to follow. Down goes Yas, and here comes Thon. He's in danger as well as Tenshi comes in to help out. And Vi having a run away as Smolder coming to join the battle, calling in Mom first to help out. Some big damage onto the Vi. She tries to stay safe in the bush, but there are just too many red team members there. And a 4-1 lead by Side Baguette. Find a huge fight in the bot lane.
Absolutely. Honestly, it just felt like Yasuo was a little bit too far forward, and I think they lost sight of Thom there for quite a while. And Lucifer did show up to try and help, but was not able to get there in enough time. And unfortunately, that cease and desist onto the Malphite, I think, might not have been the best play here. We're going to see a quick replay. So there we see the Yasuo going in here onto the Melio. Breath of Life was used to make sure that they didn't get caught in the back half of that the Yasuo knockup. But that being said, Thon coming in, absolutely key. Getting the two-man knockup onto the bot side here of GGL, and then pretty much getting away with it. Lucifer, like I said, I think the target selection there onto Thon was not exactly what they wanted, and Ghost did go pretty low, but again, Sour Patch Kid here with the Melio has to sustain. It's so hard to make sure that you're getting the damage where you need it to be, and I think Mom was more of a vibe than anything. I don't really know if Zodex had to be there, but it was nice for them to rotate down to help out their bot side.
And a fight happened in top side. Dominus Renekton chasing after Heimerdinger. And back to that previous fight, like Bexton said in the beginning of the game, Melio might be super important this game. And you saw that fight. He was absolutely crucial in keeping his team alive. So great play right there. Melio definitely providing benefits here at that mid-game fight.
Yeah, I am interested to see, once we get I Lost rotating as well, and we see some of the burn Malzahar damage that can be really oppressive, especially to these squishies like Zodex and like Ghost, even with Melio healing and shielding around, how that's going to impact these more drawn-out team fights. Because that team fight lasted significantly longer, honestly, than I thought it was going to. Now, granted, we had mid. Ooh, nice press.
Here we go. Nethergrass on Malzo. He's going to flash forward. Season assist by Vi. The CC is just too much. That is a lot of stun there for you, Smolder. You are not going anywhere, my friend. 2-4. GGL trying to tie this game up.
Now, that's the kind of CC layering that you need to see between the Vi and the Malzahar. Unlike the Malzahar in the Urgot, which it's fine. We won't talk about. Monster Mush Mush here, picking up the first turret on the top side. Despite being
constant pressure finally plays out.
2 kills up, but Gold's almost even here so far into the game. But look at the CS lead in the mid lane.
Yeah, Malzahar, he is so difficult to out-CS. He CS so easily, and obviously this one knows what he's doing, so great job here by I Lost on that Malz. 143, 10 CS a minute, exactly what you want to see, and he's going to be so crucial in these team fights, taking out that big player immediately with a good Nether Grasp. Meanwhile, fight happening top side as the Vi is here, diving onto the Renekton. Renekton pops the Dominus immediately, has the Malphite, big unstoppable force. Malphite comes in to save the day. Vi now in trouble. And Malphite and Renekton take care of business. Great counter gank there by the red team jungler.
Once again, if you do not know where Thon is, you cannot make a gank. The Malphite, especially hitting these incredible ultimates, right, on this Malphite, getting at least 2 men. I think in almost every instance we have seen of the unstoppable force being used, this Malphite has been so necessary to make sure that GGL cannot get these kills that they have honestly what looked like initially good plays for, but Thon is just on top of it, and if you do not know where they are, you cannot make these plays.
Yeah, Thon doing such a good job, and like you said, all of his ultimates have just been precision every time, knocking up exactly the amount of people he needs to. The entire enemy team gets knocked up every single fight. 3-0-2. Thon having himself a great opening game right here.
Yeah, it's just as we get later into this game, especially with the way Thon is building, this Malphite's not going to become any easier to kill. I mean, the Malphite's 3-0 so far, right? Shutdown available here for the jungler, for the side of Wei. Thank you, Mayo, for hovering over Dusk and Dawn here as well. It's just going to become more of a problem here for GGL, who do have damage, but to be able to continue...
And a fight, great play by Thon. He has the blast cone. He's going to use it to advantage. How lands the stun and some big damage onto Renekton, but he has Dominance ready to go. Down goes Renekton. Meanwhile, bot side, the Yasuo lands a knockup onto one of them. And it looks like the Milio might be in danger. Lucian tries to run away. Yasuo hitting that last breath, but not enough for the kill. And Lucian chases them out of the lane. And GGL trying desperately to come up with something, but they keep on dying. Gold lead remains relatively close at a 1K difference, but a 5-kill difference between the two teams now. And bot side fight, Lucifer over the wall. They find the play, sees an assist on a Lucian, and a sweet double kill for GGL. Exactly what they needed. Precision from the Vi. Yasuo with no ultimate does not need help, gets the kills anyway. And that is what they need to close up the gap. They now have themselves a 200 gold lead, still down by 3 kills.
I was about to say that something about the Yasuo did not have enough damage. I'm going to hold that thought. Okay, never mind. I'm going to say that thought. That the Yasuo didn't have enough damage or abilities to work through the last Breath of Life. Never mind. We're
now
fighting
the fight
it.
is happening. Urgot going to get caught out by Smolder. Here comes Malphite. Lands his double force on both of them. Another big Malphite out of Lucifer over the wall looking for Smolder. Can he find the damage? Malphite going to get CC'd instead. The win while Yasuo stops the Smolder from doing damage. And Thrawn gets taken down. Lopic comes in to help out. And it's an aggressive fight in the jungle as they are not done yet. Ghost pops the culling. Some big damage onto the Vi. She is low HP. Lopic on the chase, but Vi has the teammate and the blast cone. I think she's going to find safety. Red team trying desperately to chase this kill. Just cannot find it.
What a strange, really drawn out fight, right? It started here with what I honestly was going to say was kind of a shame, right? Because Yasuo had such a great engage, but does not have the damage to get through the Breath of Life, plus the heal, plus the barrier onto Ghost X and Sour Patch Kid, right? But then, honestly, the Avengers assembled in the bot lane, able to get a double kill here under the enemy turret, which then turned into them taking the tier 1 and trying to chase down Thon, but unfortunately, the Malphite, like I said, beefy. You can't quite fight that. Then they found Zodex here, and it looked, again, really nice, but Thon is just so good on this Malphite, making sure to space properly, finding the squishy targets, making sure that they're not able to do the CC to get Zodex while he's alive, but then again, I mean, Nethergrass just kind of doing his thing. Meanwhile, Lopic here had a fantastic engage on the flank, able to come around on the backside of that fight, and just really fascinating series of events there for both teams. But obviously, GGL love to get the kills, but a really nice turnaround by Wii. They're not afraid to continue to fight. Oh.
And a dragon fight as we come into the action. We come right into a dragon fight. Lucifer over the wall trying for the smite steal. I think knew they were dead no matter what, but want to try to get that smite. Do not want to see topside get themselves soul point this early. But they are unsuccessful. Malphite lands his top of force onto the Yasuo. 2002 is in trouble, taking some tower shots. They get rid of the Yasuo as the Urgot left alone in the lane, getting chased by the Lucian and Smolder. Smolder calling him mom for help. Big damage there by the Lucian. Double kill for the ADC. And topside Baguette starting to take over this game. 12-6 lead. The gold lead, though, relatively close at only a 200 difference.
Unfortunately, I think even with all the gold, I'm not sure it's really going to matter because Smolder's going to continue to get scarier and bigger, right? And smoldering time is only a matter of time. And on top of that, I mean, it feels like GGL have not been able to find a good fight. They find some good picks, but especially in these team engages, they haven't been able to find the correct series of engagements, and especially Thought on this Malphite is just absolutely incredible, right? 5-1-5 here. Only, 20 minutes into this game? And every single time Thon is in a fight, it does not go GGL's way. So if you are the side of the Glizzy Gluckers, how are you going to play the rest of this game to make sure, A, Malphite's not getting on top of your squishies, and B, you can still kill the Malphite, which, might I add, will continue to be a problem.
Yeah, Malphite coming in super clutch this game. And what do you think about his second item as well? Going Dusk and Dawn for the AP, and now going a little bit of tankiness as well. The Zeke's conversion gives him some health, gives him some armor, gives him some magic. There's a little bit of everything. So Malphite kind of going a mixed build, but hey, he's 5-1-5. I'm not going to knock it.
I think Malphite can kind of do whatever they want at this point. I know Carp is personally sad about the fact that it is not going the golden road, but there are still steel caps here right on the Malphite build. So I think having a mix at this point in time is probably fine, especially with Lucian being up 4-1 here. Also shutdown available for them. Meanwhile, it does, like I said, it just doesn't really feel like GGL have found a way to fight well. And if you're Malphite, you can kind of just do whatever now. So it makes sense that you have a little bit of mix, you have a little bit of tank, a little bit of AP. So, like you said earlier, you can still have fun and still live. So, which is very important here for the jungler for topside Baguette.
Yeah, Malphite kind of getting the best of the both worlds right now. And obviously, when you're this far ahead, you can kind of build whatever you want, have fun with it.
Yeah, why not? There's a Yasuo Urgot bot lane. Build whatever you want.
Build whatever you feel like.
Whatever you want.
But we have slowed down a bit. Yasuo will still get big, though. I mean, GGL still have a solid late game comp with the Malzahar, with the Vi, with the Yasuo. They both do well in the late game. Not to mention Urgot. I'm not sure how strong the Urgot support is going to be towards the late game. But nonetheless, having him on your team definitely will help out with those guaranteed kills. But Smolder, like we talked about in the beginning, ticking time bomb, and he is starting to get going.
Because I have been told by production that I have missed the very important 167 stacks on Smolder. I'm so sorry, Mayo. My deepest, sincerest condolences for missing the 167 stacks. It does appear that Smolder is well over 200 now, which means smoldering time is quite literally imminent. And at that point for the GGL, I think it's going to take a really significantly well-timed series of plays to be able to beat in a team fight.
Yeah, Malphite on the chase right here. Malzahar has to flash away. Smolder trying to call it mom a little bit. And Malphite used the ultimate, try to get Malzahar. Does get his flash out, so not a bad trade there for Thon. And he is just tough to get away from. Malzahar felt helpless in that fight. As Renekton going to go into a battle as well. Gets instantly surrounded. Has the tower to help him safety. Runs back to it after popping the ultimate.
Yeah,
and
Rift Herald as well.
Feeling good with his mid lane push. Renekton wants to dive back in, using the flash, trying to catch the Heimerdinger, but does not get close enough. Heimerdinger, a little speed boost with the turret is all he needs to get out of danger. Meanwhile, Yasuo takes a tower. And GGL really staying in this game with the gold.
Yeah, flash for flash there between both top laners, and Malzahar meeting up the Rift Herald here on the bot lane, which is nice money in their pocket. Again, the Malzahar is ahead in CS as well as in gold. But it's at this point in time, specifically in these team fights, where I just am not sure how it's going to matter. Because you have so many different members of Topside Baguette here who are threats for obviously different reasons, right? And between them, the CC specifically from Thon, and then the amount of sustain that Sour Patch Kid has had on this Melio, I feel like GGL are honestly trying to roll a boulder uphill to try and figure out how they're going to play in these team fights. I think they're going to have more luck on some of these side lane picks, but that's not really how they seem to be playing. So I don't know, I'm very interested. Obviously, Dragon here has spawned. It's Soul.
And it is Soul
I mean,
point here. And I have to imagine that GGL are going to contest this. They do not want to give over a free Soul. They have Tenshi here, Lucifer here as well. Monster Mush coming over to help out. The Yasuo is not going to be here. Malzahar a little bit late. Lucifer over the wall. Wants to fight the smite battle. It's going to be enough though. Once again, gets down to low HP, but the smite battle goes in the way of Malphite. And that is going to be a Soul for topside. They're not done fighting. Big over the wall play by Malphite. The unstoppable force going to connect on a Monster Mush. Lucian comes in there with the Coley to finish the job. And topside Baguette with 2 big kills and objective. They are immediately heading over for Baron.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's no stopping this, right? Lucifer, unfortunately, unable to win the smite fight for, I think, the 2nd or 3rd time in a row, which is, unfortunate for them. I do appreciate the attempt, but unless you have your whole team there, I'm not exactly sure what the plan is. Topside Baguette have a clear plan for these team fights, and unless you have your whole team there, I'm not sure you can fight it. I mean, this Baron is a given, despite GGL here pushing into mid-inhib.
Yeah, they want to try to give themselves at least a tower, maybe even an inhib as well. Yasuo and Urgot taking this fast, and we got ourselves a replay.
How close was it? I've got to know.
I saw 66. I saw the health at 66. 60, there it was, yep.
Yep. Oh, just barely,
Vi trying to get that play. Meanwhile, Urgot, very low HP in enemy territory, has to run away. The red team might call over some reinforcements. Here comes Renekton. And Urgot trying to find a way out of the situation, is getting chased by a lot of red team members. They have the Smolder there. They're going to find some auto attacks. Tenshi not going to survive long as Smolder is starting to get going, picks up his 3rd kill of the game.
Yeah, and I have heard that it is in fact smoldering time. It's official. The dragon has practiced enough. And despite how well trained Heimerdinger's dragons are, I don't think they can beat out a little dragon that good. So that being said, Zodex here is, I think, going to snowball swiftly out of control. And for GGL, I won't say it's looking over. It's never over till it's over. but they have to find a way to stop the snowball from Topside Baguette that is right now truly spiraling out of control. 2K gold lead here. They have 4 dragons. They have 2 towers. Not as many here, obviously, as the side of GGL. They have the wave pressure, right? Oh, Thon.
And Thon gonna dive in, gets caught out though. The cease and desist by Vi. They're gonna keep Thon there, and Thon is alone. Gets punished for it as Tenshi gets the shutdown. Maybe gonna get in that goal to somebody else. And 2002 in the enemy jungle also gets caught out. But wait a second, the blue team find another kill, take down Renekton. And 2 big kills there from GGL. They are back in the game. Vi is not done yet. Want to find the 3 members running to the jungle. Does have the punch, but no CC as they run back towards the tower. Smolder calling in Mom for a little bit of help.
Windwall does stop Mom's help.
And the blue team, they got 2 dead. They got an inhibitor. They are pushing back right here. How far can this push go? I can't imagine them getting another set of turrets. It is a 5v3 red team with some decent wave clear with Smolder and Lucian still on the field. And they are going to use that. They do have to give up an inhibitor, though. So GGL fighting back are going to take the gold lead as well. 2K gold lead now for them.
Yeah, they got the picks 2 in a row for the side of GGL, which is exactly what they need to be able to pressure the push in, especially that pick on Thon was so important. I know I've said this, I think, 100 times so far this game, but it's so true because as soon as the Malphite's out of the way, you're able to see the way GGL were hoping to play this game and the pressure they're able to put onto this mid lane and to get that inhib. We see it right here. Oh, what a nice suppress there, Fear Beyond Death. And then the TP in, unfortunately, was just a little bit too late. Nice suppression from iLost. They were able to use their CC sparingly, so they didn't accidentally non-bow each other. And just
That's
really
what I'm thinking. Renekton is going to be Malzahar's main target for this Nethergrass. That being said, if you do it with Malphite around, he can simply just ult you out of the Nethergrass. So it's very difficult to choose that target. I feel like Malphite using the ultimate onto Malzahar using the ultimate onto Malphite is almost a waste. So he wants to try to find the Lucian, wants to try to find the Renekton. But that being said, not using it on the Malphite leaves him free to go ahead and ult whoever he wants.
Yeah, you just definitely don't want the Nethergrass into the Fear Beyond Death because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does, but, you know, there's better things you can use that for. But that being said, really fantastic double pick there for the side of GGL. Definitely finding a little bit of footing here. They do have 7 towers, which is a lot, right? And they have 3 grubs, so it's not like they're totally out of it, even though it's decidedly looking still scary. And
yeah, even
honestly,
though they are up in gold, it still feels that the red team have that momentum, have that advantage, but does not feel as bad as it did as a little bit ago. After the Baron and the Dragon fight, it really felt like they were going to end the game in the next 3 minutes. So big fight from GGL to keep it going a little bit longer, but they still have to worry about the late game from the red team, especially this Smolder. I mean, he is getting going. Elder on the field in just a few minutes, and that is essentially double Smolder time.
Yeah, double Smolder time doesn't sound fun if you're not Smolder's team, you know?
That's exactly.
Oh, man. Zodex here, obviously, fantastic mid laner, so that is something to be aware of. It does look like Yasuo may be headed towards this top lane here to get kind of a wrap around here on Zodex. Coming in from the other side, they may be able to trap this dragon out. We'll see.
Yeah, Smolder in a bad situation, has the flash immediately. Looks like he got exhausted, I believe, as Yasuo does throw that exhaust in. Zoa trying to get out right now. 2002 lands the wind wall. Not a lot of damage from Mom. Perfect wind wall to stop the Smolder ultimate as the blue team pick up a kill, but here comes Thon. He wants to stop this. Yasuo does not feel safe in the bush. He's now trying to run away. Thon on the chase. The rest of the red team coming over to help. And I feel like the Yasuo might be in a dangerous situation. Milio getting hit as well. Or the Heimerdium getting hit as well right now. Down goes the Yasuo. And that is a great play there by the Malphite helping out. Thon leaving the Heimerdinger very low HP. The Vi trying to go help that out. Does not have enough pressure. Meanwhile, bot side, blue team find another kill. The Fear Beyond Death onto the Renekton. And all over the map, GGL coming up with the plays.
Was this just a 5-head strategy play from GGL? Not only did they get the pick on Zodex in the top lane, right? But they drew Thon away from the dragon. And they managed to leave members there of Topside Baguette kind of free for the picking there on the bot side. I don't know if that was intentionally the plan, but that was really well played to obviously get the kill and the shutdown gold, right, from the Smolder. And Monster Mush got away with it. I'm not exactly sure how. I don't know I don't know
barely,
how.
but he
But
got
they got
out.
away with it. They just barely got away with it. Now, Dragon has not been taken. Elder is still up, to be clear. But Thon there was on the wrong side of the map. That was almost very scary for the side of top side of
I
Baguette.
would have loved to see GGL go for a crazy Elder play right there. It
Yeah,
would have been
agree,
a 3v1 if top side to try to contest. They would have only had one and been able to go over there to try to contest it. And here we go. Blue team are going to get rid of the ward. They're going to start this Elder up. 5 members of top side still alive. They're going to rush over here to stop this Drake from being taken. An Elder Dragon fight has begun. Here comes some TPs. Elder Dragon looking low, though. Heimerdinger does a lot of damage to objectives. They're trying to end this fight battle. Here comes their next, and he's going to pop the dominance early. The Elder looking low, though, and the Vi's going to get the Elder. Great play there. The Lucian pops in the calling. They have the CC on the Lucian. Lucifer takes them out. And Smolder calling and Mom for help. A little bit of help onto the blue team, trying to run away. And the blue team is stuck right here. Zernecta gets the kill onto the Urgot. And it's a 3-for-1 trade. Blue team get the Elder, but lose 3 members in the fight. The Heimerdinger and the Yasuo still with the buff. Not a bad play by topside. They lose a big objective. They find some big kills. And we are still in this game, and it still feels like it is anybody's. We'll see if this Heimerdinger and Yasuo can use this Elder well.
I really think that was definitely worth it, right, from GGL. That was honestly a little bit of a wild take there on that Baron. Oh, do they want to fight
The 2
Thon?
members alive. They are right here with the Malphite. Malphite
Okay.
using the blast cone to get out, though.
Yeah. Really, really well played there by GGL. That was really pins and needles for me because it was really down to the wire. And yes, they did lose 3 members into that fight, but I really want to highlight the Yasuo here with a really well-timed wind wall. Obviously, Thon is in the pit, immediately takes out Lucifer here and 10 GVT. The amount of damage from the Malphite and also from Zodex here was not something to be discounted. Low pick here trying to get on top of the back line of GGL, was not quite able to make it. And 2 members were able to get away. So honestly, super worth it. Really well-timed, honestly, kind of big aura play there by GGL. They said the game's not over. What if we just take Elder?
That's
you have
it.
all the Drakes. What if we just do that one? And you know what? They're right. What if you just took Elder?
So they have it on 2 big players right there. Heimerdinger and the Yasuo still able to do some serious damage. We'll see if they can use it, though, as the red team, they gather here in the mid lane looking for another push. They are down towers. They are down gold, but they are way up in the kills and objectives department.
Which is so interesting, right? It seems like such a strange... Like, if you just looked at the scoreline, 11-19, you would think that topside Baguette... Ooh.
And a fight happening here. Monster Bush has to go golden to stay alive. Lucian pops the calling. Lots of damage onto the Heimerdinger. Easy kill there for the red team. And they instantly head over to the Baron. They see Malzahar bot. They know the Yasuo is mid. Vi just now respawning. And that is going to be a free Baron here for the red team. It looks like Blue Squad, GGL, not even going to try to contest this.
I mean, it does look like Lucifer wants to once again attempt a hero play, maybe do a smite steal here onto the Baron. Don't know if they're going to be able to make it.
All right, they are going to be here. They're taking a look. They see the Barons at 3,000. Can they go in for the steal right now? Meanwhile, blue side just shoving in. If red team takes too long, big last spread by the Yasuo. They have Zodex running away. Smolder does not get out. Down goes the Smolder from Malzahar burn. The suppression onto Renekton is going to be enough as well. And a huge play there. Blue team are going to steal the Baron. They have the fight. They have the kills. They are shoving in. 2002 looking for the knockup. Going to land on a Sour Patch Kid. The turrets are going down. The Baron is alive. The blue team with the comeback fight are going to take game number 1.
This is exactly what I was hoping for in a matchup between the glizzy gluckers and topside Baguette. What an incredibly wild series of events. Thank you for doing a replay. Oh my god.
I would love to
Incredible
see. I
smite
wish we
steal.
would see a replay of that Vi steal. Obviously, she gets
do it
it.
again,
What a
Mayo,
hero
please.
play from the Vi.
Mayo, please. Oh, he's gonna take us into, here we get another replay of the smite steal from the Vi. Just
Oh
barely.
my gosh, perfectly
Oh my
timed.
god.
What a play by Lucifer.
Lucifer finally got the smite steal. And you know what? Huge props to them for never giving up on the attempt for the smite steal. They missed a couple. They're like, it's okay, we'll get him next time. And they got the one that ended the game. Congrats to Lucifer. Congrats to GGL for that first game, because I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, it's not over till it's over, but it looked really dire there for a hot
The
minute. But
fact
they were
that Lucifer
oh,
literally lost every smite battle before that. was in like 4 different smite battles before that objective, lost every single one, but got the one that mattered the most. What a hero play by the Vi, and great job by the blue team saying, you know what? We're going to let Vi try to steal this. Let's just put full pressure on the blue side. If she happens to take it, it's game over, and that is exactly what happened. What a crazy, crazy play to end game number 1. Topside Baguette felt like they were in control the entire game. It felt like they were poised to win that, especially after that 20-minute fight. But man, what a play by Glizzy Gluckers. Just did not give up and came out with a very exciting game number 1 victory.
I loved watching them split the map too, because I saw it a few times and I'm like, I can't tell if this was purposeful or accidental. And then they did it again for Baron. They were pushing in that bot lane tier 3 tower and the inhib while they knew that Topside Baguette were on the Baron, and they were able to split the damage dealers enough that they were able to steal the Baron, get the inhib, and then get the win. What an incredible way for that game to end. I'm so excited. I love
Red
Doran's.
team pulling 2, or Topside Baguette pulling 2 players back to try to stop the push, just getting caught out by that Urgot Yasuo combo that we were completely unsure about for the entire game. Is this going to be worth it? It turns out it was absolutely worth it towards the end of it. The Vi, the Urgot, and the Yasuo, the knockups just set up last breath, and they finished them off. Incredible game, and I think both these teams are getting ready for game number 2. I am already pumped for it. Hopefully you guys are too. Don't go anywhere. Risen Esports game number 2 coming up after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are ready. Game number 2 is about to commence, and it's going to be tough to top game number 1, but I'm excited to see what these two teams come up with. Glizzy Gluckers versus Top Side Baguette, already delivering an epic series with just a single game. Let's see how it progresses. Picks and bans underway.
This is exactly why I was excited to have you here, Cal, because what an absolute treat to watch such poetry in motion, right? On the rift, such incredibly strange compositions somehow making it, right? Xerath here, the first pick here for Glizzy Gluckers, and given how they tend to draft, I do expect that to be a bot lane Xerath. Ashe is going to be the answer for Topside Baguette. I'm expecting a Seraphine with that. Seraphine Ashe, obviously. Very classic, very powerful pick right now, right? Yep, there it is. It's very meta. The pros love it. So why not Topside Baguette?
And I'm seeing this Xerath on the field, and this is a very personal caster bias, but I am a mid laner. I play Xerath. I play Echo, so I am super excited to see this Xerath. However, usually I see Xerath as a support role, obviously accompanying the Jhin quite a bit. We'll see if they decide to bring him mid lane. He does very well with Caitlyn as well. That range is just nutty if they decide to go Xerath Caitlyn. It is a very, very annoying bot lane to deal with. You are constantly getting poked.
I am fascinated. This is the most normal comp that I've ever seen the Glizzy Gluckers have, and it makes me slightly dubious.
Well, you say that now, but that's the Xerath top, so be prepared.
True.
Yeah.
Xerath jungle. Here we go. Caitlyn is now the
Xerath
support.
jungle. We don't know what Glizz is going to do as Nefiri is getting hovered.
Yes.
The Hound
Because
Dog
we have seen the
gets picked up.
Nefiri support. We have seen them do that. So, now that being said, probably not where she's going. And she has been hotfix nerfed. Don't worry. She can no longer do the weird woo-woo thing with her ultimates and W being essentially the same thing. So we don't have to be on the lookout for the build for the Nefiri, right? Yone here. Ooh, Yone hovered for Topside Baguette. I do expect that will be selected.
Very aggressive, very squishy champions taken so far. 0 tanks on the team.
Yeah.
Some big engages with the Yone and Nefiri. Obviously, Ashe, Xerath, Caitlyn, Seraphine, all able to be one-shot by a big ability. So we'll see. I wish it wasn't Fearless, because Malphite would have a field day right now into these comps.
Yeah, but since it is Fearless, that means we get to see something even more spicy and interesting,
right.
perhaps. So I'm
Plus,
all for
I don't want
it.
to see Malphite take. I mean, granted, Malphite did take over the game, but it did not provide the win. So you never know.
True. And I have been informed from our lovely producer Mayo that Caitlyn can go top because he saw a reel once. So we have that to look forward to, perhaps.
I've seen it once, therefore it can happen. She can technically go top. I will be shocked if that happens. That being said, Glizzy Gluckers, they have already surprised me, so I am ready for anything. And as we go on to our final 4 bans, Nasus and the Set taken off the field, Nard taken off the field, so it looks like both teams are pretty confident that top lanes have not been selected yet.
Right, which does lead me to believe that that is in fact not a Caitlyn top lane, though it would be fun. That being said, I'm wondering if they're going to ban out... so many top lane bans here. We have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top lane bans out of, the bans here today. That does kind of make sense because, like I said, both top laners are slick with it. So that being said, Sejuani, hovered here for Topside Baguette. That would be some nice CC and some tankiness that they definitely need here for their composition. Anything goes with Glizzy Gluckers. I'm now kind of worried that if they pick a normal comp, I won't know what to do about it. I'm so keen on them being so wild. Teemo
Teemo gets
here.
picked up. As a little bit, he is a top laner. I would consider him an off-meta top laner, though. Not played a ton, but a lot of fun to watch. A very unfun to play against.
Teemo jungle?
It would be fun to see. I have to assume it's going to be Nefiri jungle. Teemo top. We'll find out with these final pick, but here we have Topside Baguette going to round out their comp as well. Glizzy Gluckers with their final pick. And how do they round out their comp?
I'm assuming they want Tryndamere. Okay.
And it might be a Teemo jungle. It might be Teemo mid. It might be Teemo jungle. But Glizzy Gluckers not disappointing with their final picks. Definitely throwing some craziness into the mix. Topside Baguette about to round out their comp. Their final 5 on the board.
This Scion here is going to be picked up here for Topside Baguette. It's hovered, it's not selected, but I do expect that to be the direction that they're going. This comp, very standard, makes a lot of sense, right? They have lots of CC, they have the tankiness, they have more tankiness than last game, which is important. And this is a true team fighting comp and provides a lot of capability for people to not get picked off in side lanes, which we did say that they had a little issue with last time. So I am excited to see that. Sejuani obviously fantastic at making sure that Thon can get those roaming ganks that he is so good at and make sure that he can provide those pressure to his lane. Meanwhile, for the side of the Glizzy Gluckers, while we wait for Mayo to tell us exactly where people are going, I am so fascinated. Okay, we have it. We have it. Are we ready? All right. Okay. This is exciting. We have a Tryndamere top, Nefiri jungle, Teemo mid, Xerath ADC, and Caitlyn support. And I have been informed that that is in fact a Caitlyn support. So I was right the whole time.
They just do not play normal supports. They just refuse to play a support champion. I thought Xerath is support. That makes sense. Yeah, Xerath is a support champion. I like him mid, but he absolutely is support. Not anymore. He's APC. Caitlyn, go and support this game. Glizzy Gluckers, I love you guys.
Of all of the things I could have possibly expected, I was honestly joking when I said Caitlyn support. I don't know if they're listening to me, and that's why they decided to go with that. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. 10 GVT can do basically anything, and I am excited to see them play Caitlyn support, despite my reservations about how that works. I'm assuming if you just have someone doing more damage with you, they're supporting you to get a kill, so...
But Xerath having to use his mana now on the minions is such a killer for the poke. I mean, a lot of times early games, you're really not doing a lot of poke unless you're poking them as you CS, unless you can throw your Q through the minions onto the champion as well. But your main priority in early game Xerath is not to poke, it's not to do damage, it's to CS, to get that first item, get that lost chapter so you start running out of mana. But either way, we got some big name comps, some big name players. I'm really excited about top Side Baguette. I really like their Ashe, Seraphine, Sejuani combo. I think it's such a good one. Ashe, Seraphine, already a great duo. I think Sejuani really complements that duo very well to help out in these fights. But we got ourselves an exciting one. Bexon, before we go to break, which one of these two team comps, based on just their comps, do you think is going to win this game?
Well, I don't have any channel points to spend, but you should on who you think is going to win this particular matchup. I know we had a particular friend of mine win a lot of channel points by betting on the Glizzy Gluckers, so I'm just saying, you never know. But that being said, I do have reservations about the damage profile from the Glizzy Gluckers. I'm a little concerned about how, once again, how are you going to kill the tanks, right? Because Sion is nearly unkillable, especially late game, as Sejuani is not a slouch either, especially into the type of oppressive CC, the rooting and the slowing forever from the Ashe Seraphine, which any ADC or support player knows is just awful. So that being said, I do think the win for me is top Side Baguette. I think that they have a lot of ways to counter the kind of chaos that the Glizzy Gluckers want to bring. But that being said, I've never seen a Caitlyn support, so I don't know.
We're excited to see it. I'm right there with you. I like top Side Baguette's comp as well. Obviously, like I said, the Sion, at no point does Xerath get big enough to deal with a decent Sion. If Sion is way behind, maybe, but if he is even somewhat capable, then Xerath is not going to be able to do damage to him. We're going to see how it plays out. You guys let us know with your channel employees who you think is going to win this game. Risen Esports, game number 2 of this absolutely epic showdown is about to commence. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Game 2 coming up after this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Game number 2 is officially underway. Topside Baguette versus Glizzy Gluckers. An epic game number 1. I'm excited to see what they can do with game number 2. Some wild comps on the field for sure. What do you think about them, Bexon?
I'm so excited. We were talking in break that, I play Caitlyn, you play Xerath. So between the two of us, we know how wild this composition for the Glizzy Gluckers is between the Xerath, APC, and the Caitlyn support. I'm excited to see how that's going to go. But obviously, the most important thing, besides the play, is the skin game win game predictions. Now, Trenmir, good skin. Scion, no skin. Meanwhile, Teemo has the Little Devil, which is my personal favorite, but that is the honor skin there for the Sejuani. Fantastic. I believe that's High Noon for Young. And I don't think the Xerath had a skin. So, all things said,
vanilla. Yep.
It's gonna be Wii for me. Also, I like that. I like the Ashe skin. I like Seraphine skin. So for me, that's got to be it. They've got the style. They've got the. Can they come back here and win game 2?
It worked last time. You called it correctly last time. So the skins are the wins, guys.
I'm never wrong until I am,
Yeah, like that. And Yone versus Teemo in the mid lane. Going to be very annoying for the Yone. Obviously getting his auto attacks blind every 8 seconds. But like we said, bot lane poke is already coming in. Xerath and Caitlyn level 2. They are going to start throwing in those long range abilities. Xerath with that W hits the slow. The Q is so easy to follow up. But like we talked about, Xerath having to use a lot of mana on minions because he is the APC. It's a little bit of a disadvantage there.
I have something so important to note. Do you notice here the double TP bot lane to the side of GGL?
I just noticed that. Did not until right now. So Glizzy Gluckers coming up with some weird strategy. You'll see how that one works out. And he just wanted to show Lucifer missing the drop. Thank you for that replay. We missed it. Our production crew did not. Showing off a little missed drop right there from the Fury. Happens to the best of us.
Oh, that's a little bit petty here from the side of our production.
Yeah, he did that on purpose. No one needed to see that, but he made sure that we did.
Yeah, that's why Mayo is, in fact, one of my favorite producers of all time, if not my favorite producer of all time, because he's just funny. So, we love you, Mayo. Thank you for doing what you do. Meanwhile, mid lane already. Added a low health
mid lane and top lane. Great knockup by Scion, forcing Trinity to take 2 tower shots. And now Zodex has Teemo very low HP. Maybe looking for that Q3 engage.
Yeah, so much poke, so much pressure from both sides, even though the Caitlyn and the Xerath are definitely not the normal comp, but they're facing into one of the other most long-range and oppressive bot lanes. Ooh, Lucifer.
And a fight happening here in the jungle. Lucifer gonna use that untargetable, trying to flip out. Some big damage from the red team there in the chase. Young Sejuani gonna flash forward, does get the damage. One more auto attack is all it's gonna take. First blood goes to the Sedge. And topside on the board, jungler picking up first blood against the enemy jungle.
Yeah, once again, Thon already becoming a problem. We're not even 4 minutes into this game. As we saw in the last game, Thon on really any champion, but especially these champions that can do these slows and the damage, right? And the CC. You have to be so careful not to let them get too far ahead of the game. I lost here in a little bit of trouble. Was not able to roam either to try and support Lucifer. Unfortunately, the pathing there for the Nefiri took them a little bit out of the way of this Teemo, and they were not able to get that blind down to help their fellow player out. Meanwhile, it does look like they want a little bit of a rematch, topside, maybe? Maybe not.
Yeah, Teemo would have been very nice in that fight. But you talked about Doran is just doing a great job on these engaged junglers. He's playing Sejuani right now. Obviously, the Malphite did an incredible job. It's the decision-making from Thon. That's really what you got to have when playing these champions. You got to know which fights to take and which fights not to take. Thon obviously doing a great job both game 1 and now game 2. Starting off 1-0. And topside with a very early but very small lead. And Teemo almost goes down. A sliver of HP left on the Teemo. They're going to stay there. That's going to be a mistake. Flash forward by the Yone. The quick Q finishes the play. Teemo needed to back, got greedy, and topside pick up their second kill.
I really lost the plot maybe a little bit. Staying a little bit, like you said, too long. Zodex doing, I think, what any good mid laner would do, which is to flash under the enemy turret. When your enemy has, what, 10 HP left? So nice kill pick up there for Zodex. The Young definitely, I mean, again, another champion you do not want to get ahead of the game. And as we saw last game, Zodex on the Smolder, despite not getting the win, that Smolder was still super oppressive and providing lots of damage for their team. And Yona's in the exact same kind of ball game, right? So you definitely do not want Zodex to get ahead. That being said, taking a quick look here at the state of the game here, 5.5 minutes in. CS, a little bit strange here. Tryndamere here, about 20 CS up, in the bot lane. Not a lot, but a slight lead for the Xerath.
Yeah,
which I
great
just find
job by the
interesting.
Xerath. And
Yeah.
CSing is definitely his weakness in the early game. He takes a lot of mana to farm out. Obviously gets that mana back when he autos a minion or a champion. But nonetheless, a little bit difficult, but Xerath holding his own. And once he gets that lost chapter, if that's what he's going for right now, is such a big buy for Xerath. Really helps out with those mana issues. But it is two different games between that. Meanwhile, fight happening possibly bot side as 3 members of each team in this bot lane. Sejuani going to use that sweeps, finds Lucifer in the jungle. Do they want to go in for the stun? Finds the Nefiri. Nefiri able to flip away, but Sejuani not done with the fight, chasing after her. And Thrawn does have level 6 ready to go if they want to use it.
I did get word from Mayo that the Teemo initially lived with 3 HP.
Oh my gosh.
Which is
Initially, unfortunately, didn't stay
yes,
alive.
Initially, no. That being said, as we're hitting 6 here on this bot side, I do expect to see a lot of energy very rapidly here. The dragon is up. Lucifer and Thawne here around the dragon pit, but doesn't look like either really want to take it. I think Thawne might have maybe a little bit of PTSD from that Baron steal in the last game. Wants to make sure that they have the pressure and no one's going, oh, nice root.
Big damage there. Good root. The Seraphine. Like we talked about, here comes the Xerath. The right of the Arcane is popped. Some big damage onto Ghost. Can he find that final shot? He's gonna land it, and Ghost just barely survives the final right of the Arcane. Is able to live, though. And nice job. That poke from the blue team really coming into play in that fight.
Yeah, 33 HP was the ending amount there for Ghost X. Sour Patch Kid once again with the incredible sustain, healing and shielding this time obviously from Seraphine, not the Melio, but again making Ghost very difficult to kill, which we saw last game was a big problem for that bot lane. So unless they can really figure out how to kind of crack some of those shields and make sure that Ghost takes a significant amount of damage, they're gonna have to deal with a power level Ashe. Red team here, picking up first dragon of the game. About a 1k gold lead here, about 7 minutes in.
Yeah, I know we talked about how strong the Xerath Caitlyn poke is in the bot lane, how annoying it is to deal with. But that being said, Ashe and Seraphine, they are no slouch in the poke game either. They got long-range poke as well. The volley, very difficult to dodge out. So they are going to be able to fight back. Not quite as long range, but they are obviously staying in it with a tie CS lead in the bot lane. Xerath and Ashe right now on equal footing.
Something to look at that I'm, making note of here, right? So Tryndamere does have the CS lead onto the Scion. I'm gonna hold that thought.
And a fight happening bot side. Thrawn goes in, the Frozen Tomb onto the, throws a prison onto the Xerath, is gonna instantly catch him out. Xerath with really no mobility except for Flash. He gets taken down, and a 3-0 lead now by Side Baguette. They are definitely trying to force this game 3.
And that's exactly, ironically, what I was worried about, because despite the CS lead here for the Tryndamere, this Sejuani is so far ahead of the game on this Nefiri, right? And as we saw, Thawne is really kind of the beating heart of this team, and if they allow Thawne to get ahead, it's going to be really difficult to come back unless, like we saw in Game 1, a miracle can happen.
Yeah, they were ahead in Game 1. But not quite this far. The Game 1, it seemed about 1,000 gold lead at most the entire game. It was incredible how close that game was, almost the entirety of it. This one, you can see Side Baguette really starting to pull ahead, almost at 2K already before the 10-minute mark.
True. Grubs here were picked up by the glizzy gluckers. But like I said, first dragon here going to the side of Side Baguette, which does mean, like you said, the gold lead proxy farming. Thawne is going to find you.
And Thawne comes in. Here comes the fight happening bot side. The Tryndamere might be in a bad situation. Scion coming to help out. Cannot land the slow. Thrawn still on the chase. Tryndamere wanted to dash over the wall. Has to use his flash. But does get out of danger. Flash used on the Trynd.
That was a really nice flash there by Monster Mush Mush. It looked really dangerous and did get some nice proxy farming down. But it's the same issue I saw in the first game. GGL really need to be very on top of their warding, on top of their vision, and they need to know where the Sejuani is at all times, because that Glacial Prison means an insta-kill for pretty much every single member of this team, besides maybe the Tryndamere. And
Yeah.
it's, again, it's the exact same thing we saw in game 1. So for them, ooh.
And big play there. Zodex going into the Fate Sealed. Has the Teemo and the ropes right now. Going to miss out the Q. Teemo trying to dance around this Yone. Does find safety. Here comes the Fury. Hounds Pursuit onto Yone. The Ignite is there as well. Shut down onto the Yone. Not done yet. Another Hounds Pursuit. This time on Sejuani. Teemo coming over to help out. Zereth wants to pop that right to the Arcane. Trying to find some extra damage. Double kill for Nefiri. And Glizzy Gluckers find their way back into the game. Take the gold lead as Lucifer going to get caught out in the jungle by 2 red team members. 4-2. And we got ourselves a game.
It was such a good play for Lucifer. Oh, nice flash.
Well, good flash by Tenchi. And the fight is not done yet. The CC is there. Down goes the Caitlyn. They do not need to land the Encore. Seraphine has extra CC in her kit. And 5-2. Top side getting that lead right back.
This is exactly, obviously, why the Seraphine Ashe is such an impressive lane and why it is so meta. There is so much CC and damage, and the slows are just absurd here, right, from Ghost X and Sour Patch Kid. But I want to back it up a little bit to that mid lane to jungle play. Lucifer coming in clutch, managing to save that Teemo, getting that double kill was exactly the kind of energy they need to stay in this game, right? Shrinking the gold deficit there for GGL, managing to pick up a little bit of energy. Lucifer still behind in CS, but definitely the kind of pressure that they need to make sure that they're not out of this game for good. So really well played there by Lucifer. Also that Enchanted Crystal Arrow just very barely managed to miss both Teemo and Nefiri. I think it went in between them by, I swear, half a Teemo's pixels worth, right? Between both of those both of those champions. You know, the correct unit of measurement in League of Legends.
And Yone gonna pull the fight back on it. Teemo does get blinded. Some big damage onto the Yone. Teemo gets him low. The poison is not gonna do enough though.
Thought we were gonna see a flash under tower, but their flash is down. So I lost, not able to get the revenge for the earlier kill. But that being said, Thon here is able to pressure in the mid lane. And the Nefiri is so far simultaneously more of an aggressive, you know, gank potential than I thought she would be, and also not as much.
And that's
Oh my
a
God.
great combo right there. 2 ultimates used. Fate Seal plus the Frozen Prison. And down goes Teemo easily. Top side, finder the kill. Meanwhile, bot side, Seraphine taking a big pressure right now. The right of the Arcane onto the Seraphine, trying to find that last shot. It's gonna connect, but not enough damage. Seraphine gets out with the life.
Unfortunately, I think the Xerath is just going to take a little bit more time than they might even have to be able to do the kind of damage to be able to get those kills. Because, you know, as you mentioned before we walked in or came into this game, that Xerath APC doesn't have quite the same gold potential, right? As the mid laner is a little bit slower. Monster Mush Mush might be in trouble.
Yeah, Monster Much
He's
More is going to
spinning
get
to
caught out. Has the spin, but Sejuani this time going to follow him. The stun is going to be there as well. The slow on a Trinity. He's popped the ghost, trying to run away. The knockup connects. And Thrawn is there. The CC chain is real. Has to pop the Undying Rage. Still trying to find a way out. Going to run into Zodex in the jungle. Down goes the Undying Rage. Down goes his life. Monster Mush sent back to the Nexus.
Yeah, I feel like that was just a little bit greedy there from the top side player there, Monster Mush Mush, getting a little bit too into the weeds, right? Into the top side jungle that was not theirs. That being said, nice ward. Because as I mentioned earlier, you have to know where Thon is, right? Blue team here picking up the dragon while Thon was distracted there in the top side jungle, getting that kill there onto the Tryndamere. But
Yeah,
it's
big
a
play
very
there.
interesting game. I thought
It's
it was going to be
reminiscent of game number
game
one,
one.
and the fact
Yeah.
that top side had the massive kill lead, but the gold lead is sitting at about 500, so not a big gold lead. It is still anyone's game, but by the looks of the KDA, top side probably feeling like they're in control.
But they do have a dragon this time, GGL. Which is nice. That blind from Teemo is going to be so annoying to play into later into this game.
Yeah, such a good ability, and Teemo does scale very well, so you can see that GGL do have some decent scalers on the team. That being said, one of them is playing support, so a little bit odd, but nonetheless, they have the scales. We'll see if they can use it as low pick, chasing Monster Mush out of the top lane.
The other thing, the Teemo stream, I'm so irritated, and I'm not even playing in this game, right? Playing into Teemo is just an exercise in, I think it's a level of hell, to be quite honest. There's something about
It's just the
playing
worst.
Teemo. That's just the worst. Oh, that being said, though, Teemo managing to keep about on par here with Zodex in terms of CS, despite 2 kills down, dying twice. Does have the static shiv though, which will make Teemo increasingly more irritating. As we take a look at the gold, just briefly. Thank you for that, Maya. We appreciate you. Seeing a little bit of the gold diff here, right? Tryndamere a little bit ahead, but Sejuani still ahead of the Nefiri into this jungle. And as we've said, the beating heart and soul of this team, Thawne, is so dangerous, and they are currently lying in wait for this bot side.
And Hugo did has that frozen prison onto the Xerath. Xerath's gonna, I believe, flash out of it, and they're gonna have the CC onto Thawne. Meanwhile, he's gonna pop that right to the Arcane. Looking at Ghost right now. Can he find the damage? Ghost with some fancy footwork. Dodges out the skill shots, and no real damage done. Sejuani retreats back into the jungle.
Yeah, it was a good attempt there by Thawne, but I feel like GGL may be getting a little bit aware of the kinds of ganks. Because Thawne is willing to wait for what seems like an absurdly long amount of time for a gank. Blue team here summoning the Rift Herald in the top side. Low pick needs to be a little bit careful. They've got the jungler and Tryndamere here at no tower.
And that tower is gone. Low pick. Can they run away? Does have his ultimate. They're going to step in front of that Sion. They want to get away. He's going to have to flash forward to find the distance using that ultimate unstoppable force. Meanwhile, big play here. The Seraphine throwing the Encore. It's not going to matter. 2002 does take down the Ashe, but gets killed herself by Thrawn. And a 2-for-1 trade in the bot lane. Down goes the Red Team ADC.
Image that I was not expecting Xerath to kill there. It seemed like GhostX had quite a nice amount of health there. Barrier had been popped. It seemed like they were going to be okay. But Xerath coming out with, honestly, what seems like an unreal amount of damage there.
Yeah, that Ludens plus the large raw, definitely a great combo to have. You want that raw AP on Xerath. Usually, a lot of times, he'll go just glass cannon. Maybe sometimes he'll pick up a Zanya's, but you just want as much raw AP damage and magic pen as you can get on this champion. And you saw it right there against a squishy champion like Ashe. It really starts to hurt.
Yeah, Thawne here trying to keep their tier 2 alive. Oh, the
and
flash.
Zodex with a Fate Seal taking a shot. The Teemo almost walked away with the kill, but Yone stays aggressive, stays in the fight, walks away. Teemo now 0-3 this game as a fight brewing bot lane. Yoshi going in on a Ghost. Can they find the trap? Big CC right there. The Q is not going to connect. Ghost gets out. Xerath does have his ultimate available in a second. Does he want to try it? Right there, Arcane is going to be used. Ghost taking some shots. One more shot is going to be enough. And 2002 channels in Kobe takes down Ashe with 3 shots. And fight continues in the bot lane as Thrawn has showed up, but the blue team have some distance. Caitlyn trying to run away. The stun is not going to land. And here comes Nefiri. He's going to turn to a 3v2 fight. The red team have vision. The Pixel Bush, they're going to see that Nefiri and I think simply walk away as Sour Patch Kid is going to get caught out by the W. Not sure what the Seraphine was doing. Tried to back in the bush, getting caught out immediately as Lucifer joined the fight. Zodex, the red team mid laner, comes bot lane right now. Lucifer goes untargetable, splashes out of the way. They try to chase him down, but it's not going to be enough as the blue team take down a tower. And they have taken the gold lead by a substantial amount. Big fights in the bot lane.
It started with iLost doing the most unfortunate flash that was predicted by Zodex. And it ended with GGL picking up several kills onto topside Baguette.
Yeah, fighting is non-stop as the Tryndamere is going to get caught out. Has his Undying Rage. We're going to pop in a replay and see that fight go down. As we say that, Tryndamere on the Undying Rage has to pop that. He goes down as well by Ghost. 4 members of the red team makes it easy to get that kill.
Now we go to the replay. I want to take a look at this because GhostX, it looked so good. Nice stun there, right? But the return stun from the Xerath, and it seems like Xerath's Rite of the Arcane is up, I swear, every 20 seconds. Because this ultimate, that just waiting, standing in lane, not even moving, fantastic kill into GhostX, and then Nefiri did the smart thing, rotating down. They knew that Thawne would likely be there, and they were able to get away long enough from the jungler, despite the turnaround from the Seraphine, to be able to get the kill in return. Oh, Encore did miss.
And yeah, fights happening in the bot lane. Lucifer under tower does get hit by some CC, but wait a second, here comes Teemo. iLost coming to take down the Ashe before she can kill Nefiri. And good play there by Teemo. Teemo on the board as we have a dragon fight. Looks like it has started.
Yeah, and with Ashe down, that is a lot of poke and vision, right? And CC there with especially the Enchanted Crystal Arrow that without it makes topside Baguette's rack and take a little bit sketchy. Oh, catch it! With the right of the
Zodex as he's backing. I don't think he had vision. I am curious. The blue team knew that the Yone was there. I think Xerath might have gone for a guess and just guessed correctly.
No. Oh, they did have a ward there. They did have a ward there, so I think it was on vision. I think that they did know where Zodex was backing. Or 2002 TF2 1006 has the best psychic ability of prediction of all time. That was an incredibly timed, well done ultimate ability.
And we will
We're gonna
see,
take
and
it.
this is the
They
vision
didn't
by the blue
know.
team. They have absolutely
They
zero
didn't
on they
know.
test the F2, and they have the ward. That's
Oh,
going to be
they did
enough.
the ward.
Great
Okay.
ward right there to catch out the Yone, and Xerath does not hesitate to pull the trigger.
I feel like GGL have better communication this game, especially as we're getting a little bit later. It seems like they're able to play around each other a little bit better. That being said, Topside Baguette just, I mean, they're just so oppressive.
And Monster Mush does get caught out. Good Steve by Thon, trying to find a way out of this fight right now. Has an Undying Rage if it needs to be available. Does pop it early. Chasing after Lopez, but doesn't have the damage. Changes attention towards the Ghost. Trying to find a kill before he goes down, but Ghost is there. The CC is there. Down goes the Tryndamere. And Topside hold on to their kill lead, but they are behind in gold right now. And big fight here. Dion goes in, has the face shield, looking for the stun. I lost, looking like they might have some damage taken. And Zodex unable to finish that fight, but Xerath is there. The long range Q connects. 2002 starting to do some damage. He has his Ludens, he has his Shadow Flame, and those Qs are hitting hard.
That's why I hate playing into Xerath. That was absurd. The damage and the range, and this is exactly why they pick it. Oh, nice encore.
Great encore by Seraphine. Talk about a long-range ultimate. Xerath there with the right of the Arcane, throwing some damage onto Ashe, but not enough for the kill. And Seraphine goes down. Top of threw onto Seraphine. He did get the kill there. Xerath on fire this game.
I have no words. This is why playing into Xerath is so absurd, and why, honestly, this bot side is kind of working.
When Lucifer pops the Hound's Pursuit, Ghost flashes too early. You have to wait for the Hound's Pursuit to finish before you flash away. Ghost kind of wasting a flash right there. The Fury picks up her third kill. 200 gold bounty on the Fury's head right now. GGL really starting to come alive.
Yeah, taking a quick look here, right? State of the game here, 22 minutes in. 3 kills up here, but behind in gold. Topside Baguette are struggling a little bit. Tryndamere here way ahead of the Scion in terms of CS.
And he is just going deep, Monster Mush is. And he's been punished for multiple times this game. Looks like this might be the same thing. Here comes South Patch Kids to land the CC. Thon is there. Has to pop the Undying Rage. Looking for that Blast Cone to get out. Blast Cone pushes the Sejuani away. And Tryndamere, thank God he had his ultimate.
That's just absurd. Monster Mush Mush really playing with the barest edges of health and just really not having a care in the world and really just limit testing at every single moment here with this champion. Zodex here trying to get a tier 1 tower on the bot side, facing off against Tryndamere.
And the Fate Seal is going to not connect. Here comes Bondo. They want to finish this fight. They know the Tryndamere does not have the ultimate. Big damage here. The CC coming as well. Monster Mush trying to take down the Yone, but does not have the damage. Zodex gets the kill. And Topside find another one there in the bot lane. Gold lead remains a 3.6k lead for GGL right now. They are really coming alive, and they're looking at a Baron.
Yeah, meanwhile, as that was happening in the bot side, once again, playing the other side of the map so well, Xerath picked up a kill there onto the Ashe. Once again, taking the damage and the vision and the CC from Topside Baguette out of the way. So Yone is pressuring tier 2 on the bot side here, but the Baron has gone the way of GGL, and I don't think they knew it was being taken.
No, great job by the producer showing us the red team vision. I was completely blind on that Baron pit. Blue team had themselves a free Baron here at 23 and a half minutes. So big Baron play for them. Let's see what they can do with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping we're going to see a lot of nice pressure here from the side of GGL. They have basically everything. Ooh, Tenshi BT here.
Tenshi going to get caught out, and Caitlyn, as the port, does not have the damage to take down Zodex. Zodex making it look easy, and late game Yone. That is what you have to deal with.
Now, granted, I am not a Caitlyn support main, so I have no way to tell. I have no way to tell if this is a normal Caitlyn support build. Someone please tell me if that's normal. Meanwhile, TP
yeah, well, that's definitely a weird pick right here from the Caitlyn. There's the Seraphine. That's going to land the encore. And like we talked about, Xerath without any sort of movement abilities, very easy to hit these skill shots on Lucifer. Goes untargetable, trying to take down Ghost. The bleed is going to be enough. Meanwhile, Monster Mush bot side getting attacked by 2 red team members. Pops the Undying Rage. It's going to run out. Zodex gets the kill and fights all over the map. The red team find 2 quick kills. Blue team take down the Seraphine. And Topside trying what they can to get back in this game, heading over their secondary.
Yeah, Topside, I think, have kind of learned some of the wily ways here of GGL. with Lopik waiting in the bushes, luring Monster Mush Mush into that fight with Yon into the bushes where they were lying in wait. Meanwhile, fantastic kill by the Nefiri on to this Ashe. But unfortunately, on the backside, what are they going to do about it? Lucifer chasing down Thawne, but the roots here from Seraphine can never be discounted. Not only does Seraphine root you for about 1,200 years, but also she can heal. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
I lost
crazy
train
good
of
champion.
thought.
Here
Speaking
comes
of, I
Azerath
lost
right
train
of the
of
arcane
thought
onto the
because-
back line, finding some damage. Ghost has looking low, gonna dodge out that fifth shot. And Ghost able to survive. And the red team now, they're trying to look for a fight right now. 2002 getting chased by Zodex. Big frozen prison onto the Xerath. They want the damage first. Tenchi takes down the Yon. Blue team are still alive. Fawn taking the damage right now. Here comes Lucifer. They take down the Sejuani. And Trinamir chasing after the Scion. Red team cannot find a kill. 5 members of the blue squad left alive. They still have the Baron. They're ready to shove. And this game is looking like it is theirs to win. Topside trying to stay alive and not lose their first series.
It was a fantastic find to find Xerath there with Thawne, trying to make sure that the damage could not continue to come out, but 10 GVT showing up as the Caitlyn support. Apparently, the build's pretty good because they were able to keep them alive, make sure Zodex and Thawne were not able to continue that assault onto their backline damage. Meanwhile, Iloth still taking towers. Teemo is doing Teemo things. Both tier 3 in the top and the mid have been taken, and despite the weirdest comp of all time, it does seem like GGL continue to pressure topside Baguette.
And they are making these comps work, but look at this Scion. He is just walking through these Xerath queues. He does not care. Here comes the unstoppable onslaught. Can he find a knockup? Not going to land onto the Teemo. Does see the Xerath. Xerath flashing over the wall to get away. The knockup from Scion goes short of the blue team as Xerath throwing in some long-range queues. And here comes the ace in the hole. Cannot find its mark. Xerath wants that right of the arcane. Looking at the backline. Seraphine, does he have that final shot? Fifth shot needs to connect, and it's going to be the shield that saves the Seraphine's life. Xerath doing damage, not quite enough to get through the Seraphine shields.
It does feel like if you're playing Xerath, it is very much an FU in particular kind of moment, trying to decide who you want to try and kill with Right of the Arcane. And I do feel like Sour Patch Kids has been on the receiving end of that more than once. Monster Mush Mush absolutely getting destroyed by Zodex. I apologize. I didn't even drop quickly enough for you to talk about that fight.
No, that's shoots.
Whoa.
Nothing to say in that fight. That's just Yon gaming right there. And unfortunately, late game Yon, guys, if you have fingers, you can play the champion well. You just got to sort of press buttons and just hit at least 1/10 of your abilities, and you are good to win. Incredible champion late game Yon, 8-4, 261 CS. So obviously Zodex feeling strong for the red team. Hopefully can bring his team to a victory.
I do love, maybe this is the arc, right? I think I'm supposed to become a mid lane because that sounds kind of fun to be able to just, you know, play Yon, late game Yon.
Slam your hand on the keyboard. That's all you need to do with that champion. It seems to work out most of the time.
Come on. That's pretty great. I mean, mid lane's even getting a new assassin here soon, right? With the new champion.
That's right.
That being said, I have been told from production that it is not really the normal, quote unquote, Caitlyn support build.
And that's going to be a good damage shutdown for the Sedge. Zodex taking very little damage right there from the Teemo. And topside, even though they are behind in gold, it just feels like their team comp is sort of starting to come alive and starting to become a real problem, like we said in the beginning of the game. This Scion is becoming very difficult to kill. Yon seems to be able to beat anyone in a 1v1, possibly even a 2v1. So topside, definitely down behind in gold, even in objectives, but it still feels like they have the ability to win this game, especially if they use their strengths like this Yon and the Scion well.
Well, absolutely. I think their team fight is just inherently better here by GGL, but that being said, the fix.
And that is exactly what it is. They're going to find that one player out. Seraphine once again get caught by the right of the arcane. Thrawn coming in. The Fury goes untargetable. Does get CC, so big damage onto the Fury. Thrawn chasing him down. Shutdown for the Ashe. Much needed kill for the red team. And they are not done chasing. Zodex in a dive in. Gets hit by the Xerath E. Is going to flash back. Not enough damage onto the Caitlyn for the kill.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of play topside Baguette needs, because GGL have the ability to make these good picks, but once again, if you do not know where Thawne is, you cannot take the fight, even this deep into the game, even with this gold lead.
And here we go, over the wall, Xerath finds the E once again. They end up getting the kill. Down goes the Caitlyn, but Xerath is on top of it with these stuns. Meanwhile, Monster Mush has the Undying Rage trying to find that final inhibitor. Cannot get that second one down. Did secure the top one for his team, though. And so good objective there, getting that inhibitor, but red team do find some kills. 4 members of GGL sent back to the Nexus.
Yeah, Ghost picked up a double kill there onto the Xerath and onto the Caitlyn, which I think we're going to take a peek at real quick right here. The damage from the Xerath and the stun meant that Yone was not able to kill this Caitlyn initially, but you can never discount the Ashe damage. I mean, just look at that. I mean, missing the damage, unfortunately, for the Xerath, but nice double kill there for Ghost X.
And Xerath does not do super well into Ashe either. She has that enchanted arrow, which is very difficult to dodge with no movement abilities. So Ashe might have a fun time taking out this Xerath if they meet each other in the 1v1. We will see what happens. 16 to 23, 2 Drakes apiece, about a 2.5k gold lead, about 3k gold lead for GGL. And here comes once again Xerath right of the Arcane, looking at this. Seraphine finds his mark. Down goes Sour Patch Kid, and Seraphine has got to be getting frustrated with all these Xerath ultimates.
I'm just now really considering how Teemo is essentially an extra ward for all of these Rite of the Arcanes, because, you know, Teemo standing in a bush, going invisible, as Teemo is wont to do, means that the Xerath has a whole extra level of vision that is not necessarily something I would really think of in trying to hit these enemy champions. Really well played there. Ooh, Fate does not
Teemo
steal.
put the trap down in the perfect spot. Yone is going to hit it before popping his Fate Sealed. He does not win that fight. Here comes Lucifer, pops that Hound's Pursuit onto the Yone. Monster Bush is here as well. The red team, they have some damage. The Monster Bush takes down the Yone. Doran taking down Teemo. And Lucifer diving right back in with the Hound's Pursuit, looking at Ghost in the back line. Xerath is there. Can't find the E, but Zach throwing down some big abilities. Double kill for the Ashe. One into the Fury. Tenchi taking down the Ashe, and now Tenchi is in trouble as the red team looking for the knock-up CC. Down goes the Caitlyn. 4 members of GGL sent back to the Nexus once again. And they are not done fighting as the Scion uses Unstoppable Onslaught to chase down the Xerath. Xerath trying to find the stun, but he is unstoppable. The flash over the wall is not going to be enough as the Sejuani follows him. Can they find the CC? Xerath need to find distance, but the thing about the Xerath E is it lasts a shorter time the closer it is that you hit it with. So Xerath only getting about a 0.5 second stun with each one of these E's. Thrawn on the chase, looking for that final auto attack. It's got to connect. Down goes the Xerath. And an ace for topside. What a play.
That chase of the Xerath lasted 5 times longer than I thought it would. I gotta see that again. Thanks for the replay.
The chase of the Xerath.
Once again, Thon coming in clutch for their team. The amount of damage is just really immense here, but the CC and the stuns, right, from the side of Topside Baguette is just so incredible. And 10 GVT trying to go in to do their best to save their teammates is not going to be quite enough. The sacrifice was not enough to fully save Xerath. I think we're going to watch a little bit of a Yaki Sax moment. Really fancy feat here from the Xerath, but unfortunately for them, the Sejuani will chase them to the ends of the earth. And the Sejuani eventually does win.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, that Xerath stun as well. The farther it travels, the longer it's stunned. So if you hit someone right next to you, only getting about a 0.5 second stun. And unfortunately, it calculates where they are going to land. So if you hit a Tristana or a Rengar as they are jumping at you, it stuns from where they would land, not from where you hit them, which can be a little bit frustrating. And Thon over the wall finds the steal, and they have a fight as well. They have a root on the Monster Bush right now. Has to pop the Undying Rage, trying to find a way out. Wants to kill Sour Patch Kid first. Here's the right of the Arcane by Xerath, trying to find Seraphine, but missing his shot. The 5th one is going to connect. Down goes Seraphine. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but not after Thon. It steals the Baron, and they are not done fighting. Thon chasing after Yoshi, getting caught by Lucifer, has the Hound's Pursuit, and the red team find a clutch steal right there. They are still alive, looking to push in this game.
Yeah, what an incredible...
And Lucifer getting taken out. Ashe looking strong right now. Xerath under tower. 3 members of the red team are going to be able to take down him. Down goes the blue team APC. Frozen Tomb by the Sejuani thrown out. Going to connect a little bit onto the Teemo. Not enough for the stun, but enough to push them back and get themselves a tower. What a turnaround fight by Topside.
It only takes one. It only takes one Baron steal to end the game. And we are going for the end here.
And the red team are going for the end. Topside, they have the kills. They have the stun onto lost. Down goes the Teemo. 4 members of the red team left alive. The towers are looking low. And Topside gonna take game number 2 and fourth of game number 3.
I love these teams.
What a game! Number 1, a comeback game. This is one of the greatest best of 3 series that I have ever been a part of. What a fantastic series, and ladies and gentlemen, Topside forcing the infamous final game. post-game stats on the screen. Bexon, before we go to break, who was your MVP that game?
Oh, Lord. I mean, it's so hard because both teams were so close for so long, but I do think I have to go with Ghost X. They were so pressured for so long, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrows coming out, especially later in that game, were just so oppressive. And that and Sour Patch Kid with some incredible encores, and Seraphine just always being a sleeper in terms of damage. So I think I got to give it to Ghost X, but it was so close the entire time. I mean, look at the damage out of the Teemo.
Absolutely. I know, right? I did not expect that. Teemo 2, 6, and 8. I did not think he was going to be by far the most damage dealer. Xerath also doing his job as the APC. Yep. But that is a difficult one to call. I think Lucifer did a fantastic job being in the right place, right time. Obviously, if Thondog, I would say personally, is the MVP for myself for this game. Thondog, once again, with that engage jungle, just able to come into any fight. The counter ganks were so on point by Sejuani this game.
Yeah, and obviously the Baron Steal, once again, 2 games in a row, Baron Steal to end the game. So really well played by Topside Baguette, which means we get more.
These junglers are having themselves a match.
We get more
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was an epic, and I mean epic game 2, an epic game number 1, and hopefully we are heading to an epic game number 3. Do not go anywhere. Risen Esports game number 3 coming up after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are ready. Game number 3 after 2 epic, and I mean epic showdowns on the Rift. We got ourselves our final winner-take-all game. Glizzy Gluckers versus Top Side Baguette.
Sides have not changed. Obviously, it's Fearless. Now that we have that out of the way, I have got to know what the plan is this time. Game 2 and game 1, honestly, right? They're so close until they're not. Both games decided on a Baron steal, okay? Which is fascinating and very fun for anyone watching at home. But I kind of want to see Glizzy Gluckers in like a normal comp, and I want to see how that works. And I really want to see they didn't really do anything wrong. It's just playing into like this absurd comp, right? Thon obviously can do no wrong as long as you put them on some kind of engaging kind of jungle pick, right? Literally any of that, totally fine. The Nocturne ban, which I don't see yet, is often a really good one. There he is.
Yeah, there it is.
Against them, yeah. But that being said, I honestly think GGL's biggest weakness last game, besides the fact that why is your Caitlyn support, but sure, go ahead, was just the lack of CC. I just think that they did not have enough to deal with all of the constant pressure here, right, from Wii. You have a lot of champions who can just chase you down. And despite Xerath having some amazing stuns and Caitlyn traps, ooh, Vigar.
There we go, and they're selecting the Vigar, which, knowing them, can go many different roles. I would like to see it as a mid laner. I do play a little bit of Vigar myself, so I love the Vigar. And then going to get answered back, Topside Baguette, maybe rocking out the Jinx. They like to select their ADCs early, it feels like.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty common, I think, for both of these teams. And honestly, for most of Doran's is like no one's really saving counter picks for ADCs right now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, kind of makes sense because it's very standard in terms of meta. And like the counter pick for ADC doesn't seem to impact the game a ton. It's Ziggs.
And Ziggs, okay. So again, that could be Ziggs APC, one of those champions that is taking bot lane quite a lot. So we'll see if that's what it is. Ziggs also does very well into Veigar. So if they do think it's going to be a Veigar mid, not a bad counter right there. Anything with range can really punish the Veigar.
Ziggs Lulu, that is fascinating. I was more expecting the Lulu if they were going to stick with the Jinx. The fact that they haven't makes you wonder if they just want to counterpick it away. But again, GGL aren't picking standard comps, so maybe they just really like Lulu. I mean, the healing and shielding and that we've seen from Sour Patch Kid has been absolutely incredible. So Lulu absolutely fits into that role very well. And also, to be noted, the Ziggs with the Satchel Charge demolishing towers is a fantastic pressure point. And as we have seen the way that GGL like to play, you can't leave that Ziggs alone.
Yeah, they will find a way to pressure you, absolutely. Another thing I want to note, I'm not sure about last game, but I'm pretty sure first game, I feel like both the teams that won were losing the gold game.
Yes,
I don't know if Topside Baguette was behind by the end of it. I know the first game, Glizzy Gluckers were behind in gold, and they still ended up pulling out the W. Topside, I believe at the end of the game, was behind in gold, ended up pulling out the win. So some very, very exciting endings. I mean, both these games, the fact they have been decided by one big fight and the teams just go for it, very exciting stuff. As Aurelia gets selected, so Veigar, Shin, and Aurelia, but knowing Glizzy Gluckers, I am not quite sure where that Aurelia and Veigar are going to be going.
We did see an Aurelia support last week.
Are they rocking it again? I would love to see it. That being said, Bexon has said that they do not think that they have played the same champion twice.
Yeah, if someone could tell me, I genuinely don't know if 10GVT has duplicated champions. If anyone knows, please tell me. I would love to know if they have played Aurelia support more than once. Someone let me know. Alawi here picked up for Topside Baguette. I do love Alawi, and I do know that low pick is an incredibly oppressive Alawi player. They are very good in this champion, and Alawi is really good in the side lanes, very good, obviously, pressure, but also the team fights. There's a lot of tentacles, okay?
So
and
good
it's
at team fights,
bad.
so good at split pushing. And just a heads up for all the viewers at home, I have a tendency to call Alawi Illawai. I do not know why. It just comes out of my mouth during fights. So if you guys hear it mid-fight, you can yell and scream at me, call me dumb. But it probably will happen during the big moments. I have a tendency to mispronounce some of these champion names, and Alawi definitely falls into that category. But here we go, on to our final 4 picks, and we're seeing very similar bans. Obviously, these players, they know who their enemies play, and they're taking away some of their top picks, like Kassadin, Ahri, Nocturne, Nasus, Briar, Zed, all getting banned out every single round so far.
Yeah, not surprising. I mean, these are just like takeaway. Obviously, all of these players are so good, you kind of have to remove their OTPs or top champs. Mordekaiser here is a little bit of a different pick. They just want to keep banning out top lane here to make Monster Mush Mush play on some of these kind of lower down on the tier list of your champion comfortability, right? So that does make sense. But I'm fascinated. Is this an Aurelia
Doesn't
top?
seem to work. They took. I mean, Tryndamere was 0-3 last game. Was still able to get stuff done. Even it seems like even if Monster Mush gets technically out of the game, he's still very much in the game. But either way, here we have our final 4 picks, as it looks like they are hovering Pantheon. They were thinking about it last game. They switched up last second to the Sedge. They might be going with a Pantheon jungle this game, and I like Pantheon jungle. That ult, that Grand Starfall, able to join the fights, really also just goes into the play style of Topside Baguette.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Thon likes to be everywhere all of the time, and what better way to do that than from halfway across the map?
Yeah.
Right? That makes total sense to me, especially the stuns and the CC that Pantheon provides, as well as, obviously, the damage, and just being really annoying to have to play into. This is a fantastic pick here for Thon, and so far this comp for Topside Baguette is looking really, really tough to play into.
Absolutely. I am obviously a little bit concerned about what they're going to take as the mid laner. Is that going to be a Ziggs MIG? Or are they going to go to more traditional ADC? As Fiddlesticks is going to get selected. Now, he's going to have a target with Ziggs as long as Lulu isn't around with Wild Growth. But I don't think he's going to be able to take out Alawi or Pantheon very easily. However, I love having a Ziggs on my team. That late game Crow Store can be an absolute game changer.
Yeah, what's kind of weird is that this looks like a mostly normal comp, which makes me wonder, where are they going to send people? Obviously, it's a little strange, but we'll see exactly what happens there.
And the Fiddlesticks, I'm not sure where. There are 2 junglers. I think it might be a Fiddlesticks in the lane, which I would love to see a Fiddlesticks mid. I think he's actually surprisingly good mid laner, has a very, very rough early game, but he can sustain himself with that W, with those heals. He does able to stay in lane for a little bit longer than you expect, and once he gets level 6, he can kill you straight up, full health. Go if you're a squishy target, which Ziggs is, he can absolutely go all in if it happens to be Ziggs. With Swain getting selected. So
Fiddle
here
support.
are the comps, folks.
Hear me out. Fiddle support.
You think it's going to be a Swain or I guess, Lulu support? You think it's going to be a Swain or a Ziggs in the bot lane?
I think it's going to be a Ziggs Lulu bot lane, Swain mid, Pantheon jungle, and Alawi top. That seems like the kind of play that Topside Baguette want to do. Swain, obviously, I mean, drain tanks are really good into like a Yorick, right? And obviously, good CC, all around a decent champion play in the mid lane. Definitely not something you have to worry about. And all right, we have it is in fact a Swain mid. And looking at, we have the official rating for the glizzy gluckers. I love
Here we go. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Aurelia top, Xin jungle, York mid, Vigar and Fiddle support. That is a mostly normal composition out of the side of glizzy gluckers.
I mean, it had to be something. The Fiddlestick support is definitely a little bit of a weird one. Is not going to be able to get that same strength he gets in a solo lane or in the jungle role. But hey, glizzy gluckers, they had the Caitlyn support. It was decent last game. Didn't get in the W, but it worked out. They were doing some serious damage. So glizzy gluckers continues their trend of playing some unusual comps.
With the way that Ten CVT likes to play support, I am truly terrified if I am playing into that as a Fiddlesticks support, because the Crow Storm and the Fear is going to be awful. And they are going to be everywhere. I'm calling it now. This is going to be the stuff of nightmares, pun intended, right? For the side of we trying to play into this Fiddlesticks. And obviously with the baby cage on top of that, if you're Fear directly... I mean,
a lot of CC chain right there.
Normal comp.
The Yorick cage, the Vagar cage, the Crow Storm, they have a lot of ways of keeping you in one spot for sure. We're going to see if that pans out. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 3 is about to kick off. We've had an amazing night so far. Hopefully it continues with game 3. But no matter what, someone is winning this series right here, right now. Don't go anywhere. Dorian's Esports coming back right after this.
giants. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Game number 3 has officially kicked off. We got ourselves an epic matchup right now. Both these teams sitting on 1 win, top side undefeated in the Doran's League. Gluckers trying to give them their very first loss. We're going to see how this game plays out. First 2 games have been absolutely epic. This game should be as well. Game 3, here we go.
I am so excited. This is going to be an absolute riot of a game. Anyone who has played into Fiddlesticks in the bot lane, you know exactly how annoying that is. But you've got 2 Yordles here on the side of top Side Baguette. And let's just say that Lulu's spam emotes are the stuff of nightmares and legends. That being said, I'm going to take a quick minute for a skin game, win game prediction, because that's what I like to do.
You're 2 for 2 so far, Bexon. Can you go
So
3
far.
for 3 tonight?
I'm never wrong until I am, so we'll see if I get to maintain that correct play. Ooh, Ignite coming out on the top side, really low health. I think I need to check in on the junglers. That is a base Alawi and a base Pantheon, but that's a base Sinzao, I think. Not familiar with Sinzao, so correct me if I'm wrong. But that being said, I do think that the skin game, win game has to go to the side of the Glizzy Gluckers, though I do love a top hat Ziggs.
Yeah, absolutely. And here we have York, early aggression onto the Swain. Swain, I think, pops his ghost very early on, trying to trade back onto Lost. And early sum there used for the red team mid laner.
Lost.
Finds the pull, some damage onto Lost, not done trading, but he is sitting inside of a massive minion wave. And Zodex and Lost, very low HP. Do they want to continue this fight?
Not 3 HP, though, like we saw last game. So
Not quite that
Lost,
low.
They have a little bit more this time. That being said, this is going to be a very interesting combo in the mid lane. Oh,
And Zodex has to flash away, getting hit by the Yorick minions. And I lost. Nice early game aggression here. Has him up by already 7 CS.
They didn't lose that trade. Hey! I'm so sorry. Apologies to everyone for my terrible puns, but it's going to keep happening. That's just the way it is. I don't think I have ever seen that Vigar skin. I think I've literally never in my life seen that.
2002 coming out with something crazy.
Yeah, I don't... Wow, we're seeing true history here on the Rift today.
And Lopic lands the pull right away. And that is the thing about playing against Alawi, is that ability right there, the E, when she pulls you out of your body, that is her bread and butter ability. If you can dodge that, you can instantly go in for the fight. It's one of the reasons I actually think of Alawi as kind of a weak champion, because she really relies heavily on a single ability that is pretty easy to dodge out. Meanwhile, though, Thon maybe think about his very first gank.
Ooh, Scuttle Crab battle instead?
Yeah, he does see the stand. Here comes Zodex as well. Going to be a 2v1 in the jungle. York, can they join the fight? Immediately, they pop the stun onto the Lucifer. Lucifer trying to find the Scuttlecrab. Has the smite. Does get it. I'm lost. Joining the fight. And a good cage onto Thon. Thon has to dash or a flash out of the cage. Still some pressure on him, though. York chasing the kill right now. Can he find the auto? Flashes forward. Down goes the jungler. And blue team pick up first blood. They are not done fighting yet as Zodex take a hit as well. I lost. One of the final play. Double kill for the Yorick. And Gluckers on the field. 2-0 start.
The wind does, in fact, become lightning when you have Lucifer on the Sinzao absolutely rolling so far as the jungler, getting that Scuttlecrab in what was a very close battle there, and then immediately turning that into a double kill for your mid laner. I lost here, already on a roll, already up in gold, shutdown already available. We are 4 minutes into this game. This is a completely different pace than we have seen from the Glizzy Gluckers before. They are really putting the foot on the gas pedal. They're going all in here.
Yeah, and I actually love this Yorick mid pick because Aurelia is not as strong of a split pusher come the late game, but Yorick, on the other hand, is an absolute insane split pusher. They can put Yorick into a side lane, have him take over the split push and do it so Aurelia can be there for the team fights. So I love that play there from Glizzy Gluckers as well by actually taking this Yorick as a mid laner. Kind of unconventional, but I think it's going to work out as Yorick right now dominating this mid lane with a big CS lead and a 2-0 kill lead.
Yeah, what is interesting to me, looking at the bot lane, seeing CS near even between this Vigar and the Ziggs, which will be, I think, really disastrous for the side of GGL if they allow topside Baguette to have this Ziggs. Speaking of split pushers, right? Satchel Charge just absolutely demolishing turrets. And the Ziggs really has the ability to have some fantastic wave clear that is really unstoppable the later you get into this game. Nice stun.
And great stun. Aurelia wants to go in right here. Has the ability, has the ignite, and there it goes. Monster Mush going 3-0 for the Gluckers. Good play right there. Blue team take the lead. Aurelia plays aggressive, and it comes out on top. 25 CS lead. Mid and top are dominating right now.
This is exactly... I'm going to hold my thought.
Yeah, Vagar throwing down the cage. Here comes the Fiddlesticks. Has a little bit of healing. That's what we talked about, how good Fiddlesticks is staying in lane. A lot of heals when he's sitting in that massive minion wave. You get heals from all of them, including the champions. As I lost, continue to put pressure onto the Swain. Is going to take a few tower shots, though. Maybe got a little too close.
Yeah, Monster Mush Mush, absolutely dancing. Fanciest feat on the top side. Managing to dodge, like you said, that Alawi pull, which is, like you said, the bread and butter of exactly how that champion works. So really well played there to get that kill on that top side. I think that's the kind of energy that they need. 55 CS to 28 here already, 6 minutes into the game. Meanwhile, on the bot side, the silence out of this Fiddlesticks, and this is exactly what I was terrified about. Again, if you have ever played into a Fiddlesticks support, you know the horrors, and I think everyone is experiencing the same kind of trauma, PTSD response that I am right now. Thon here heading up to the top lane. I don't think for a gank. They are on vision, but like Thon does like to stick around for quite a while, so I'm wondering if Monster Mush Mush may be in for a little bit of a treat here.
Yeah, I don't think you realize that he's in that bush right here. Good job by the Pantheon. Monster Mush Mush. Does he want to dive in? Looking to play a little bit. Does get pulled in by the E. And here comes the play. Pantheon dives in with the stun. Big damage there as Aurelia throws the stun behind her. Gets out of danger. Great job there by Monster Mush. Meanwhile, Lucifer is topside looking to help out as well. Diving on Thought immediately pops that Crescent Guard. Not taking a lot of damage. The Lowy wants to help out as well. Lands the E. The pole is going to connect. Lucifer, does he want to take this fight? And it looks like no one wants to go in too aggressively as they all just walk away.
A very different team than the one we saw in the first two games. And I don't know if it's because we're finally seeing champions in the lane that they're meant to be in, but GGL so far on an absolute tear on the Rift. I mean, it seems like topside Baguette have to be so careful about where they are, and now it seems like they have to be careful about where Lucifer is. Oh, nice.
And there it is. Zodek's going to get caught out by the Yorick play. And as you were talking about, yes, topside very much ahead, but I am not a huge fan of Aurelia as a champion either. I'm not a big fan of either of these top laners, to be fair. That being said, Aurelia, I think, falls off much more hard than Alawi does. It seems like Aurelia constantly seems to win lanes aggressively, get herself very far ahead of CS, maybe even kills. But as the game goes on, she just, CC just absolutely destroys that champion. And it looks like topside have a decent amount in their kit with the Swain, Pantheon, and Lulu.
Yeah, I think it'll be a question of how well Monster Mush Mush can pilot this champion, because I think that's where a lot of that late game kind of fall off, I think, like you said, kind of comes into play, is especially with the Vanguard's Edge and especially with the stun. I'm gonna hold that thought. Nice bounce to get Sour Patch Kid out of that. The Fiddlesticks hellhole. That's it. That sucks.
Yeah, right?
Playing into Fiddlesticks is just the worst. I absolutely hate it. But, you know, I feel like if Monster Mush Mush is able to continue to play as well as they are playing right now, that is scary for the side of topside Baguette, no matter how late into the game it is. Especially, we saw that the double stun alone was really incredible. So I think you're right, definitely something to be aware of.
No, Aurelia remains a pretty strong 1v1 champion throughout the game, but in team fights, I think she's lacking as Lowpick has the fight right now. Big damage onto the Aurelia. She's already used the stun. Can find the slam as well. And one more auto is going to be enough. Lowpick finds the kill. And topside finally on the board, courtesy of the Lowy. And great play right there. They're still down in gold, still down in kills, but they will take what they can get.
Absolutely. That is exactly what topside Baguette need on the top side. Low pick, once again, showing why they are so terrifying here on the Alawi. Despite a rough early game and being about 30 CS behind, you can never count an Alawi out, especially with the slows, which if you are a champion like Aurelia is so disastrous. Meanwhile, Lisphere here, finding Thon.
Yeah, that's why NASA's counters her so well. A little bit interesting right there by the Alawi, not taking that final plate. It was one auto away. I'm not sure why they didn't auto that plate to get their extra 130 gold, but nonetheless, Alawi decides to back after shoving the wave, and Aurelia has returned topside.
Yeah, a little bit of a neutralization, not completely, but so far less exciting, right? Now we're about 10 minutes into the game here. 3K gold lead for the side of PGL. I want to point that out. That is, I think, the widest gap we have seen so far, but topside Baguette can play from behind, as we've seen, really well. And they're more used to playing comps that make sense. So
if it's anything like the first two games, the person behind the gold is going to win it. So topside Baguette feeling like they're in a great spot right now, according to game 1 and 2.
Absolutely.
And Zodek's able to trade back on Yorick now. Looking decent on the trade back. Able to push him in, but Yorick lands just one of those abilities, and the Zodek's health bar just starts to get demolished by those little minions.
And one thing I am interested to see as we get later into this game, hold my thought.
And a fight in the jungle. Thong gonna get caught out. Blue team on the chase on it. There's the CC by the Shin. And Pantheon trying to use the blast going for distance, but the Shin travels with them. Down goes the Pantheon. Meanwhile, Swain flashing away from the Yorick. Has to survive. The Maiden trying to do some extra damage. Blue team find another winning fight.
Yeah, I lost said, "Are you maidenless? Indeed, good sir." They managed to find Thon in the jungle. Fantastic kill there for the side of GGL. The pressure on this mid lane is already so immense. I lost. That's a...
I got an I lost. Gets taken out by the tower. It would have been nice to Swain get that kill. Meanwhile, topside, Monster Bush throws down that Vanguard's edge. Not going to help out against low pick. 2-1 for the Illinois. And this is what I'm talking about. Aurelia, even though she dominated the lane, just, I believe, starts to fall off and not nearly like the Alawi, who only gets bigger as the game goes on.
Yeah, it was a little bit rough there. I lost thought, I think, that they were going to juggle the aggro, but the minions did not tank it. So instead, going down in that mid lane. Granted, they were executed. It did not count as a kill for the side of topside Baguette, but a little bit sad there, especially when you're trying to pressure for tempo there on the side of I lost. I do want to point out, both bot laners, once again, have TP, which I think as we get later into the game, we saw how useful it is to make sure that you can be everywhere all at once, all of the time. Not quite the right order of operations, but
we got it, man. Absolutely.
Everywhere, everything everywhere all at once, right? So for the side of the Gluckers, that is really important utility to have, both down currently. And when you're trying to play into Ghost X with, again, the wave clear from a Ziggs is never to be discounted and will take all of your towers. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of when. You need to make sure that you have those things available to be able to not let that happen. X here popping the demonic
here
ascension.
Goes Swain. He's going to pop that demonic ascension. Yorick not in range of that. You can see the fiddlesticks, by the way, bot side. It feels like he's getting ready for a crow storm right here. He keeps on going behind that wall, waiting to see if the red team want to jump up. Meanwhile, I lost, has some damage onto the Swain. Swain going to pop that ghost and try to run away. Big burn damage as the Pantheon comes to help out, gets walled off immediately. The Shin joins that fight as well. Shin diving in on the Thon. Thon going to use that shield to avoid the damage. Goes back to the tower. Score remains 4-2. Gluckers still up by about 3.4k gold.
And that is two big ultimates down for the side of topside Baguette that they really need to make sure that they have available, especially with Dragon up in about 3 minutes and with how much pressure there is on the map.
And there it is, the Ghost by Fiddlestick's going to connect on the Ghost. Ghost trying to run away, throws in his Mega Inferno Bomb. And a little bit of damage onto the blue team as Lulu and Ziggs limp back to the tower. But no kills. Nice try there by Tenshi. First Crow Storm unsuccessful.
Yeah, it was pretty spooky, though. The stuff of nightmares indeed. Thon here hovering around this bot side jungle for the side of Glizzy Gluckers. Are they? I think he might be counter jungling.
Yeah,
doing a little bit of an invade here. He's going to get caught out, though.
I think his red buff is gone. Instead, he sees in the bush as Pantheon simply runs away. Pantheon tried it, unsuccessful, but does get out safely.
Yeah, now for the first time we have seen Lucifer is up in CS on Thon, which is a bit unusual as we've seen so far. So
Thon was been dominating these jungle games the first 2 games. Lucifer definitely having himself a game right now, as I lost 2-1-0, 134 CS. 30 CS higher than the Swain right now.
Yeah, one thing I hadn't considered until we literally saw it happen in the mid lane, I kind of forgot that you can see where Grand Starfall ends. And we do have not 1, not 2, but 3 semi-cages that you can put the Pantheon in. And that's a lot of cages and a lot of careful planning that Thon needs to be aware of when doing these games.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough time diving in. Meanwhile, Lopic going to use that leap of faith onto Aurelia. Some big damage onto the top lane, and Lopic shoves that Aurelia out. Fiddlesticks is topside, though. Crowstorm not available just yet.
Yeah, it does look like they want to play for... Oh, the damage already. The Vigar stacks are adding... They are becoming phenomenally evil. We'll see exactly how phenomenal that evil will be. 4-2 here, 15 minutes into the game. 5K gold lead for the side of GGL, but as we've established, that doesn't really mean anything in these games. All it takes is one good Baron steal, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, it is a substantial gold lead. It is the biggest that we've had in these games so far, though. So GGL have themselves a very good start to game number 3. That the highest gold lead that we've seen so far in the series. But both teams have some significant late game champions. Ziggs, Alawi, Swain, and then Veigar, Yorick. So really, both teams have themselves a late game. They can both win a fight. As Aurelia might be getting ganked right here. Fiddlesticks getting ready, has the Crowstorm available, gonna pop that Crowstorm, instantly goes in with the ultimate. The fear is there. Lopic trying to stay alive, but too many blue team members means an easy kill for GGL.
Yeah, Thon is here though, so I don't think they're gonna get that top tier 1 tower, which is unfortunate, especially when spending both the Vanguard's Edge and the Crowstorm in that top to get that kill onto the Alawi. But that being said, nope, never mind. Thon does have to leave. The pressure is too great.
Unable to clear that wave fast enough.
I can't help you. CS
and
in the bot lane, though,
feeling very good right now. 16 minutes in, 5-2, substantial gold lead, and they feel like they are just shoving every single wave.
Yeah, the pressure is mounting, and for the side of topside Baguette, can they find their foothold? They've been so good at some of these catches, and especially the turnaround plays for some of these fights, so I do think that they are obviously still in it, but that being said...
And as we say that, I lost, gonna catch Zodex out, half pop the demonic ascension, here comes Thon as well, big stun onto the Yorick, and Yorick flashing towards the blast cone, does find safety as Lucifer comes to help out Thon. Chasing down the York, wants to get this kill. The rest of the red team coming over to help out. Ghost throwing in some damage, gonna land on the Lucifer. Can they find the play though? Veigar with a big cage on the 2 of them. The Crescent Guard by Shin is gonna dive in. The blue team finds the fight. So the South Path kid trying to run away right now as Veigar throws out the W. Big double kill for the blue team bot laner. And the red team just cannot catch a break right now. They thought they had a kill, but they get killed themselves. Meanwhile, Aurelia chasing down the Alawi topside, has the passive fully stacked. Alawi lands the E, but the heals are just not there. 3 kills for GGL, and they are in control of game number 3.
I almost don't have words for how well that went in GGL's favor. They were trying to chase Thon, couldn't quite catch up to them, and they said, oh, we'll take your bot lane instead. Zodex here, taking so much damage from the minions, is able to get away with that demonic ascension. Meanwhile, I Lost was in danger, but Lucifer was in exactly the right place at the right time, doing the things that jungle does best, and the bot lane roam was just, it was just so good. The Crowstorm on top of the baby cage from the Vigar, sorry, not the Crowstorm, the Crescent Guard on top of the baby cage lead to a double kill for that bot lane. Fantastic play. And then Lopic was not able to get away from Monster Mush Mush despite the flash. Aurelia had it too. And Aurelia has a few more dashes than Alawi does. Really well played there. Oh,
once you see that
Lord.
Aurelia passive fully stacked up underneath her health bar, you just kind of want to run away from her. Do not want to fight her when she's in that mode. But either way, great play right there, and great play by the Veigar also. Huge job by 2002. Clutch cage. It's just why Veigar's so good in the jungle as well. Not as a jungler, but just those jungle fights, you're able just to trap them complete. That cage can take down an entire jungle lane. So you cannot join that fight, which stops you for about 3 to 4 seconds. And that was enough for the blue team to finish the play. A big fight right there, and they are in control by a 10K gold lead now.
Yeah, Monster Mush Mush here, once again fighting with Lopik, and like you said, not only the Vanguard, but you have it from I Lost as well, and even the Vanguard's edge is wide enough to completely block off those jungle lanes.
And talking about Vanguard's edge, Monster Mush gonna throw it in our Lopik. Lopik trying to stay alive, has his ultimate, but decides to hold on to it. Does not want to fight against, don't want to waste that ultimate against the Aurelia. It might have worked out. That ult does a crazy amount of healing. I would have liked to see it as Zodex once again in danger. I Lost, pops the Demonic Ascension, and just walks away.
Yeah, I have heard word that we are 170 stacks to being phenomenally evil for the side of Veigar here. TenGPT may be in a bit of trouble. Ghost X doing quite a bit of damage here with the Ziggs, but the Fiddle will be able to get away. But it is looking... This Yorick. Oh, the Yorick.
I want to take a look at GGL's bounties, though. GGL, every single player with a bounty on their head right now.
Even the Fiddlesticks. 1-0-2.
Even the Fiddlesticks. And I Lost. We talked about this late game full split pushing. This is exactly what's happening. It is so difficult to outpush this Yorick. He is just shoving into him. Need to bring at least 2, maybe even 3 to take him down. And he takes down a tier 2 turret.
As Bo3 said, yeah. A couple turret shots, couple champions. Baron take here for the side of GGL. It is, in fact, blind. Thank you to Mayo for letting us know that they do not know. Thon here taking their wolves, unaware that GGL is out here taking the Baron rather slowly.
Yeah, GGL did his last game as well. Pantheon looking to maybe go check it out. He was heading over there, but stops midway. And does he want to try to go for a steal? I think he's still unaware they're on the Baron. And he does red buff as the team does Baron literally 10 feet away.
Yeah, really good sneaky Baron play here from the side of GGL.
And Zodex getting caught out once again. There goes the wall, pops the Demonic Ascension. I Lost, has to walk away from it. As soon as that ult is done, though, he can go right back in. Zodex needing that ult to stay alive. And Monster Mush is going to get caught out by the red team. Khan goes in, good stun onto Monster Mush, pops the Vanguard's edge. Not going to matter, shutdown for Pantheon. And a much-needed kill for topside right there. Big gold onto the Pantheon.
Yeah, putting money into Thon's pocket is exactly where you want it to go. We know how useful Thon is in this game. Oh.
And as we say that, the red team, Lopik, going to get caught out by the blue squad. We talked about at the beginning of the game, we think this blue team's communication just seems to be a little bit better. And they are showing it right here with these ganks, 11-3, really catching the red team out alone.
Yeah, unable to get the full push here onto this bot tier 3 tower between the Yorick and the Veigar, because, again, Ziggs is a wave clear master. So you have to be very thoughtful about how you're trying to push in, and Ghost X, obviously, despite being just a teeny bit behind, TS is not behind enough to really matter, especially when you're trying to push in waves like this. So Baron Minion's not quite able to get that full tower, but Yorick's going to keep pushing, as Yorick does. And towers falling across the map, 6 down here. What is this now? A 12k gold lead for the side of GGL.
It's really starting to get ahead right now. GGL trying to close out game 3 in style. And here comes the Swain, pops that Demonic Extension, chasing after Aurelia. She's going to blast away from the stun, and Veigar is here. Big damage onto the Swain, and Demonic Extension is not going to save you. Zig throwing into Mega Inferno Bomb. Lots of damage onto the Aurelia. Thon maybe able to get the shutdown. And it's a 1-for-1 trade as Ghost X takes down Aurelia. But a nice little 1-for-1 play. Veigar was there. 4-0 Veigar. Late game, it is starting to come alive. And red team have got to be scared of that.
You're definitely not sad about that shutdown going to the side of Ziggs. Definitely a great place to put it. But it feels so sneaky, right? Monster Mush Mush in game 1 and game 2 even, but especially in game 1. No, really in game 2. The Trinomir, right, died so frequently in lane that it felt like they essentially played bait, right? And in this game with the Aurelia, they are playing Aurelia fantastically, to be very clear, but they are able to bait topside Baguette into some not very good fights for them, directly into the waiting arms and baby cage, right, of this Veigar. So I'm interested to see how topside Baguette want to play that moving forward, if they want to be a little bit more cautious about trying to follow Monster Mush Mush around the map. Because that seems like a trap they fall into not infrequently.
Yeah, no, they're doing a great job of that. Aurelia pulling them in, as you talk about how that Tryndamere just dying so much. Not the same case with the Aurelia, though it honestly, it's providing the same benefit. Whether he's dying or not, it seems like it's just pulling so many players over to the side that he's putting pressure on, that GGL just essentially have a free lane or free waves in the rest of the map. So Aurelia or Monster Mush doing a great job, whether he's kicking ass like this game or whether he's dying like last game. He is still doing his job as a split pushing top laner and doing it fantastically. As GGL right now, just in absolute control of this game. A 14 or 13.5k gold lead, 8 kill lead, 3 Drakes, and it feels like a matter of time before they close out this game 3.
Hey, never say never. We've seen weirder things happen. That being said, they are trying, Topside Baguette, trying to make sure that they are not cut out by yet another Crow Storm, because as we have seen in 10 GBT, landing some absolutely incredible silences and damage. Nice done there from Monster Mush Mush. I'm not sure if it's going to lead into anything, but the Baron has ended, right? So there's a little bit of breathing room here for Topside Baguette. They have good wave clear. They have some champions that can scale into the late game. So if they can find a series of good picks, maybe if they can steal a Baron, I think there is a lot to be said for them not being out of the game yet. Again, they're 5-0. They're undefeated so far. So they can clearly play into the late game. And the other question is, can the glizzy gluckers end a game? That's always a big question, especially in Doran's. Oh my lord, the damage.
Very difficult one, and good job there to make Inferno Bomb hits. I would actually love to see GGL get an inhibitor if I was topside. Having those super minions, especially when you're not about to end the game, just kind of gives you a free lane. The enemy team just cannot farm that lane anymore because it's constantly shoving towards you. You get all that extra gold. Obviously, it puts you behind for objectives. If the objectives happen, you're kind of stuck behind. But taking an early inhibitor is not always the best choice, and GGL might have been aware of that and decided not to go super aggressive on these inhibitor takes.
Yeah, very interesting. Kind of slow push here now that the Baron has ended. But, oh my lord. It is such a strange turn of events between game 1 and then game 2 and then game 3. Seeing GGL play, again, a mostly normal comp has been such a strange phenomenon for me because I don't have to keep track of where the champions are supposed to be. And they're absolutely crushing this game. That being said, obviously it's not over, as we said.
The entire time.
Maybe.
That might be why they're only 4-1. They might have just been playing these crazy comps. They're still doing well with them, but now they're having normal comp, and they are just dominating the undefeated team of Topside.
Yeah, like you said, 14k gold lead. Oh my gosh, the tower here about half health in tier 3 in the mid lane. Ghost X going,
and what a play! 2002 flashes forward, has the primordial burst, just takes down the Ziggs. His AP is starting to stack up. We saw it right there as the Yorick alone bot side working on that inhibitor. And GGL have themselves a damaging squad right now.
I quite nearly started the play-by-play cast for that because it took one Vicar W to take.
You could have. It was just flashed off. It wasn't all the play-by-one.
It was it's true. It started with one ability and it ended with another. Baron here. Second Baron. Yeah, can we take another look at that? Thank you, Mayo. Because so it started here, right, with this kind of strange play where they were trying to chase Monster Mush Mush, but there were too many members of the Glizzy Gluckers here. And then Ghost X walks up, still under their own tower, by the way. And look at this. Half health, flash forward.
As soon as the W hits,
That's
just
it.
dives in. Full HP Ziggs gets taken out about 0.5 seconds.
Not technically one hit, but I think it counts.
13-4, 15,000 gold lead. GGL. The first 2 games were very, very even. If one side was ahead, it was by barely. This team, though, game number 3, GGL just dominating game number 3, and they're looking to secure their 4th and final Drake of the game. Going to get themselves a soul.
Yeah, second Baron has been taken. As we said, the Glizzy Gluckers here with their purple buff minions are pushing in this lanes, but this is a dead dragon. I mean, there's no one to contest it.
No.
Nice attempt, though, with the Mega Inferno Bomb. Do gotta get props for that. That's not gonna be enough.
And Godet's going to find Monster Mush topside, pops the demonic attention immediately, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. Monster Mush just chasing after the Swain. And the Pantheon coming in to help out, but the fight's already begun. Big leap of faith by the Alawi is going to be enough. Lupe goes down, and the Yorick finds another one as Monster Mush still alive in the top side. 2 members of the red team trying to stop, but do not have the damage Monster Mode stays alive, and 3 members of Topside already dead. Make it 4 right now, and Zig gets cut out by the stun. And here we go, GGL. They have a wave. They have Baron. They have an open lane to the Nexus. They're looking to end this series right here, right now. The towers are going down. The Nexus is in their sight lines. Ladies and gentlemen, GGL finds the upset. The undefeated team finally goes down. GGL are going to take game number 3.
I have no words. Al, what did we just watch?
What a dominating ending there by GGL. Unbelievable performance. You love to see it. Take a look at these post-game stats.
Look at
Once
the Yorick.
again, lost with the most damage on his team. What a mid laner.
I mean, Monster Mush Mush, also not a slouch here, right, on this Aurelia. Same with the Xin Zhao. I'm almost out of words. 5k damage on the Fiddlesticks. I mean, 18-6, the final death count here. Well, 18-5 technically, because one of those was an execute. I'm not normally so stunned for words, but quite honestly, that was an oppressive game. The Glizzy Gluckers had that from the moment it started all the way through the moment it ended. And also, I had a note to talk about this before we got into game, and I got distracted by everything else. That was, in fact, an electrocute Fiddlesticks.
So there it is. He did go, but you know what? 5,000 damage for a damage-dealing support is pretty light. I'm not sure Tenchi was the difference maker. That being said, 1-0-5, exactly what you want to see out of your support. That 0 deaths is beautiful. The low kills, the high assists. So great job there by Tenchi. He got the job done. Wasn't the most insane Fiddlesticks I've ever seen, but hey, you go deathless. You're going to help your team to that victory.
Those silences and the crow storms were absolutely incredible, but I think I definitely have to give my player of the game for this one to Monster Mush Mush. I mean, and honestly, maybe even player of the series. Not only were they able to come back from a really kind of difficult Tryndamere game, lots high deaths, right? But also the Aurelia was bonkers this entire game. Yeah. I'm talking very edge of the stun range, 2v1, just like incredible plays here the entire time. Huge props to GGL. They have officially taken a game off of Topside Baguette. Topside Baguette have lost for the first time in the week before playoffs. It was a true
Goliath versus slightly smaller Goliath story. As the 4-1 team does get themselves a victory. Now both teams, I believe, are tied at 5-1. We got 2 top dogs now in Doran's, and they just played each other. I'm sure they're going to see each other again at some point during this season. But as far as my player of the match goes, I hate to do it. It almost pains me to do it, but I got to give it to Loss. I know he played Teemo, and the idea of giving Teemo any recognition pains me.
Oh, no.
But his damage was just through the roof. Obviously, that last game, the split push in Yorick, you had to bring 3 to 4 people. It just left the lane. It left the game just so open for everybody else on the field.
Just an incredible play. And I have heard from production that we do have an interview lined up here in a brief moment after a small break. But last thing before we head to break, I want to point out I'm 100% in my skin game win game predictions.
100% it works, folks. It works. Enough making your predictions based on stats or facts, all right? Get the feelings involved. It's all about the feels. And Bexon, 3 for 3 tonight on predictions. You love to see it.
I am pretty talented. No, I think we are going to take a...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we are joined by Tenshi, the unbelievable support of Glizzy Gluckers. Fantastic game, fantastic series, Tenshi. I think the thing that I'm wondering, and I'm sure a lot of viewers are wondering, what is up with the off-meta support picks? Are you a support player or do you just like to play off-meta support?
um, I am not a support player.
Okay.
Our team has 4 mid laners and 1 jungler, and I picked support because I don't have to do anything.
Well, I don't know if that's true. I think you did a lot that game, man. That was some sweet plays, especially game. I mean, all
Thank
three
you.
games were amazing. I got one more question. I'm gonna toss over to Bex in here in a second too, as well. But what do you think your strongest game was? Because you played some weird champions, man.
In
What do you
like
think
the
you
whole
did the
league,
best at?
or are you talking about like the whole league, like
Yeah,
every
between the
match,
three
or just?
games. What do you think your
Oh, I see.
crazy support was, man? I'm curious.
What was the first game? What did I play? I forgot what I played. What was
Urgot,
my-
Yeah,
and
right?
then Caitlyn,
Oh,
and then
Urgot. I think
Six.
Urgot was my strongest because I like pressing R, and they CC them and they die.
Hey, it was a very fun
So
game to watch.
valid.
That Urgot support was wild.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think for me, first of all, congratulations for A, a fantastic win, and B, you took a win off of Topside Baguette. So my first question is, going up against the Titan undefeated team of the league so far, how did y'all feel? Were you nervous? Did you feel like you had it in the bag?
Yeah, we were definitely like trying to prepare. We did some research and development. Like we were considering a Draven support with Glacial Augment, but
Oh,
you know, but yeah, I think this game their playstyle is kind of counter to us. Like
Mm.
they play very safe, very standard, and that does not allow us to ADHD our way through the game. So we had to play normally, unfortunately.
I mean, normally in game 3 I would accept, but for the other two, I would definitely not call those normal. And without giving away any of your, as you call it, ADHD strategies, how did you choose for this last game to play a lot more standard? Because I think the word I would use is oppressive for that win here in game 3. What made you kind of change your strategy? Like, I kind of knew where champions were going. That's so weird.
um, Before the draft, our top laner had to go to the restroom, and so we were like, "Oh, let's end fast because I also need to go to the restroom and I want to hold it in this game." And so we did that. We don't have any strategy.
No
We
strategy.
The
just
best reason I've ever heard, Tenshi.
Yeah.
That is the beautiful
Valid.
strategy
Thank
right
you.
there.
Valid.
We
All
got
right,
a
my
piece,
last
so let's end fast.
let's end fast.
Beautiful, man.
Because I will point out that you do have the record for the longest and the shortest games of the league. So that is very impressive. So that being said, my last question before I toss it back to Cal is, now you already knew you were going into playoffs. I think that that was pretty much a given your showcasing so far this season. But what are you looking forward to now that you're going to playoffs? Now that it's locked in, you know who's going. What are you looking forward to?
Um, I just think all of the teams play so well, and then our team can just have like a blast. Like everyone plays in a slightly different style, so that means like every game for us is like a mystery. So
It's true.
yeah, I mean, every game for them is also a mystery because we're playing. But
Yes, that is true. 100%.
All right, man. Tenshi, I got a final question myself, man. So your whole team is sort of known as the off-meta team. You guys have some crazy picks. You guys definitely make some crazy decisions, crazy comps, but they end up working out. But you guys just played a relatively traditional comp, I would say, and you absolutely dominated one of the best teams in the league. Do you think this is going to make your team play more traditional in the future, or are you guys going right back to the wackiness?
we do not want to play like this ever again. This sucked.
I love it. I love it. As a
Valid,
caster, I don't
valid.
want to see. I want to see you guys with the wackiness as well. So that's
That
what
makes
I
me
want
so
to hear,
happy.
Tenji.
Oh, I love that.
Hey,
I love you
Tenji,
guys.
congratulations, my man. Unbelievable performance. Unbelievable series. Thank you for making so excited for me and Bex in here to watch and everyone at home. You have yourself a wonderful day, and I cannot wait to watch you play some future games, man.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Oh,
ladies
man.
and gentlemen, that was it. What an incredible day of Dorian's Arisen Esports, whatever you want to call it, guys. It was an unbelievable series. So exciting throughout the entire thing. Obviously, some great players, some great gamers, some amazing casting by my girl, Bexon. Bexon, thank you so much for joining all of us here. And anything final to say before we get out of here?
Thanks for coming to Doran's. I'm so glad you were here for this particular matchup.
Me
I think
too.
it was a particularly fantastic one. But at least from my side, get ready for playoffs because I think it's going to be a fantastic one. Make sure you check out tomorrow is Bommies and also Magi's. And then on Wednesday, we got Franchise League and Friday's Draft League. So there's always more Risen to be had. So make sure you like and subscribe and do all that good stuff.
Thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see you in future games. Have a wonderful night and be good or be good at it.